No. Hello, people. Welcome to Critical Analysis. As we lose our minds. How's everybody today? And by everybody, I mean zero. Got him. Gotta engage. We gotta pretend there's people there.
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Fuck, there is someone there. It's the 13Army.
How fucking dare you?
We choose violence today, baby. Every day.
Oh, fucking me
Swap
dare
to
you.
application to resume. Swap
I'll kill you
to
in a video game.
application to resume. My boy.
I'll make you speedrun communion.
Speed run communion.
Do it.
I need to make a shirt that just says that. That's gonna be the first merch.
The first merch. Very fucking good.
OP. Can you see my stream right now? Because my Discord says stream paused. Swap to your application to resume.
Stream. No, it says.
You can see my mouse moving around and shit.
Hold on. It says no. It says minimize their application. Sit tight.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay. And if I open this? Oh, okay. It's just when I minimize it. So if I leave it open in the background, then it's fine. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Didn't know that it did that. Now I know.
Sir.
Learning.
Learning.
Cool. Well, I don't think that they're live yet. But who knows?
Probably not.
These fucking websites are cringe. 3 minutes,
I know
it
what
says.
website it's on.
It's on like the CTV News websites, I think. But it seems to be hosted by some kind of YouTube player, I think. Who knows? Normally they start these things a little earlier, so normally there's like a camera pointed at an empty podium for like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's Trudeau, not Kenney.
No, I saw the Kenney ones. I was waiting for like 30 minutes for one of them. That was a while ago. That was like before wintertime. I'm just waiting. Oh yeah, I never answered your question. My day was average.
Very good.
How about you?
I am going to go live.
Baller.
Okay, I'm going live, but I'm going to be AFK for a second.
Unbelievable.
I gotta go take a smash, so.
Smash. Oh gee, they're not live yet, so be golden. Oh, for anyone who is paying attention, Jason Kenney's announcing more restrictions today, so we're gonna, with our newfound infinite knowledge of, oh god, I think they're live now. Bonk. With our newfound infinite knowledge of decent COVID restrictions and things that work against the spread of COVID, essentially, and blah 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 blah, we're essentially just gonna judge it. But I'm assuming based on previous lockdown measures that Alberta has implemented, it's probably not going to be much of anything. Maybe. Well, I'll wait till the 13Army gets back, but maybe we'll make some guesses as to what they're going to do. I think the most recent ones that they had announced for last week were potentially some kind of curfew stuff. And then they're sending the grades 7 through 12 to online learning. I forget if there was much else that was really notable. I don't think there was much else that was really notable. Those are the two things that are kind of important, I think, based on our studies that we've read. It seems like education seems to spread, or like places of education, there seems to be some kind of like notable spread, especially with the newer variants. And then, so sending grades 7 through 12 home for online learning makes sense. And then curfews seem to be, I believe one of the studies I read said that curfews were like part of the top 3 most effective measures against COVID-19, so, or the spread of COVID-19 specifically. So
Hey
I mean,
there.
if they actually implemented them, then that'd be good. Hello, Mike Dixie Recht. How's it going?
Pronouns so I may proceed.
Oh, it is he, him. Thank you. What are your pronouns?
Mine are they them.
Sweet. Welcome in.
Thanks.
Oh yeah. We'll be addressing our content here shortly. I think the 13 Army is almost back, hopefully from their smash.
Is it okay if I say thanks, brother?
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm cool with like any kind of gendered stuff essentially. That's all cool. All G with me.
Sweet.
Hell yeah.
Hola.
Thanks.
Thanks, brother.
Hell yeah. Hello, Cruz. Cool. We got 2 peoples, OP. How's it going for you 2 guys today? Or sorry, guy and them. How do you say guy as a them? Guys as them.
You just ask what their preference is.
No, I'm trying to think of like the word you would say. Like when you're saying an audience. How's
It's you too.
I guess you just say people, I guess, hey? Yeah. How's it going, people? That makes more sense. Yeah.
Don't sweat it, brother.
It's not what I've ever thought about really addressing like a, I guess, but you usually just address a crowd as gender neutral anyways, right? So that makes sense.
Say hey and then continue my sentence.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
Hanging out. Guys, right? Is it okay if I tell you not to sweat it, brother?
Hell yeah. We golden.
But if you sweat it's gonna happen.
Fuck. When I perspirate. Just kidding.
Isn't it non-binary in the royal sense?
Guys, it might be. I'm not sure. Like generally,
That's why I say it's preference. You have to ask.
yeah, maybe.
Like for me, it doesn't matter. I don't.
It probably just depends, I guess, person to person, maybe. Maybe kind of like how people say dude in like a gender neutral-esque way. I don't know if
When
like
people say
everybody considers dude to be not like gender neutral, but I know a lot of people like
when people
say it that way.
hey man, I'm fine with
All right. Hello, everyone.
Amazing.
I am back.
I think.
Sorry
I freaking muted it, but oh fuck, they're
My
live right now.
teacher called me dude, and let's just say she's not my teacher anymore.
Hell yeah. Bye, teacher. Okay, we're gonna react live now because Kenny's talking.
From day one, our goals have been to avoid large-scale loss of life, to keep our hospitals from being overwhelmed, while minimizing the damage of restrictions on our broader society. Governments must not impair people's rights or their livelihoods unless it is absolutely necessary to save lives
InfoWars.
and, in this case, to prevent disaster from unfolding in our
Is this
hospitals.
InfoWars?
Unfortunately,
It's the
that
Alberta
is
government.
the situation that we are facing
Pretty much.
today. The arrival of highly transmissible COVID variants in Alberta is putting real pressure on our healthcare system. Despite 64% of Albertans over the age of 50 having received at least 1 dose of a vaccine, the disease
Got it, MR
continues to
snazzy
spread
pants.
at an alarming rate, especially amongst
yeah.
younger people. Now, let
Is
me
it
walk
okay
you
if
through
I
the
call you
numbers.
MR snazzy
Today,
pants?
we have
Yeah, that's cool, no worries.
671 people in hospital with COVID-19, 150 of whom are in intensive care. But of course, we also have to treat non-COVID patients, meaning that there are a total of 226 Albertans in ICU right now. That's far more than the total number of ICU beds that we would have in a typical
Holy
year
shit,
available
Dogecoin
in
just
our
went to
healthcare system.
$2.
Alberta Health Services has worked hard to
Not
develop
surprising.
surge capacity. So
I'm just
if
gonna mute
pressed,
chat for
we
now,
can
guys.
open
Is it
as
okay
many
if I
as
say holy shit in here?
425
Oh yeah, that's cool.
ICU
I'm just gonna mute
beds.
chat for now and I'll reply to you guys
But-
after, okay?
And this is a big but. That would require mass cancellations of surgeries and other care that people are counting on. Now, if exponential growth of COVID-19 in Alberta continues, it would begin to push the outer limits of even our surged and expanded hospital capacity within weeks. So let me be clear. We will not permit our healthcare system to be overwhelmed. We must not, and we will not force our doctors and nurses to decide who gets care and who doesn't. And that is why we must act now to stop the spike. Earlier today, the Emergency Management Committee of Cabinet approved a set of new public health measures to stop the spike of COVID-19 in our province. These stepped-up measures will take effect province-wide, with the exception of a few communities that have very low levels of spread. Let me begin with the most difficult decision. Starting this Friday, May the 6th, kindergarten to grade 12 will move to at-home learning until Tuesday, May the 25th, after the long weekend. I know this is a real disruption for both kids and parents, but with the current level of community spread, we have 80,000 students and staff who are in self-isolation and will soon reach a point where many schools will not be able to operate. This 2-week reset will allow schools to come back for in-classroom instruction right through to the end of the academic year. The following measures will take effect immediately and will be in place for at least 3 weeks. Workplaces with COVID-19 outbreaks will be mandated to close operations for 10 days, with exemptions for critical workplaces. All post-secondary institutions will move online. Retail services must limit consumer capacity to 10% of fire code capacity or a minimum of 5 customers. This includes both individual stores and common areas. Outdoor social gatherings, currently limited to 10 people, will now be limited to 5, with a strong recommendation that people limit such gatherings to no more than 2 family cohorts. Places of worship, currently limited to 15% capacity, will be limited to 15 people, as they were last spring. Sadly, funerals, currently limited to 20 people, will now be limited to 10. Effective at 11:59 p.m. on this coming Sunday, May the 9th, personal and wellness services, including hair salons, tattoo parlors, tanning salons, and nail salons, will close for the next 3 weeks. In-person dining at bars and restaurants, including outdoor patios, will have to close during the same period. They may be open for takeout only, and delivery, of course. Outdoor sports and recreation will be limited to households and close contacts only. And youth and adult performance will close. Health, social, and professional services like massage therapy, physicians and dentists, accountants, and lawyers will remain available, but by appointment only. And indoor fitness remains closed. We are doubling the basic fine for violating public health measures from $1,000 to $2,000. The maximum fine for serious offenses remains under the law $100,000. And we are introducing a tougher enforcement protocol for repeat offenders, because we will not tolerate those who endanger the health of their fellow Albertans while the vast majority of people are doing the right thing. Now, those who can work from home must do so, and masks are required at all indoor work sites unless workers are distanced from others. A full list of these measures is available right now at alberta.ca-stop the spike. But there's one simple message. If you can stay home, please stay home, at least over the next 3 weeks. I know all of this is discouraging to hear. Nobody wants to be here, especially after 14 months with multiple waves of this pandemic. But our commitment to the health and safety of Albertans must come first. The good news is that we have vaccines on our side. They're already working wonders, and they are finally arriving in larger and larger numbers. We'll be able to vaccinate all Albertans over 16 years of age very soon. The vaccines will catch up to the virus and defeat it, and we'll do so this spring, this summer. We have seen it happen elsewhere. It's only a matter of time before it happens here in Alberta. But until then, we have to protect our hospitals. If we don't want widespread delays or cancellations of surgeries and other healthcare, we have to stop the spike right now. If we want to guarantee a staffed hospital bed for every Albertan that may need one, for any reason, COVID-19 or otherwise, then we have to stop the spike right now. So please follow the health guidelines in your area, particularly if you live in one of the hotspots. Get vaccinated when it's your turn. If you're eligible to be vaccinated now, please don't wait a day longer. Summer is just around the corner. And that summer, what it will look like depends on what all of us do. So let's come together and show that we are Alberta strong, so that we can move past this terrible time to a bright Alberta summer. Thank you and good night.
Blink.
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 You think that might be one of their key things? Like if he after he's done speaking, if he blinks like that, like a deliberate
It's like a
blink,
dog
they're
whistle.
Yeah, it's like end it.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
To be old and dumb.
True. I have lots of opinions on this, but I'm sure you do too. Maybe I'll let you start if you have.
No,
if you have
you
feels.
can go ahead.
Okay, sure. I'd like to note the direction that he's, or I guess the what's the word? The emotion that he's portraying in this one. Like the way that the message is delivered is a lot more like optimistic, I think. Whereas his recent outgoings, I guess, have been very critical of anti-maskers and the rallies and stuff. And the very ending, especially, there felt pretty like we can do this together. He did the whole Alberta Strong meme.
Well, I think if he openly went on to live television and proceeded to call out, what is it, 15% of Alberta who don't believe in masks and lockdowns and vaccines, it's not going to get very far.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you have to, I would say a large portion of Albertans don't like Kenney as it is.
Yeah, I definitely.
Especially the anti-maskers right now.
He's slipping a little bit, yeah.
Which is funny because they're the ones who probably voted for him most likely.
Yeah.
Right? But a huge majority of them don't already like him as it is. So calling out the probably remaining few people that do still like Kenney isn't going to bode well for him.
No, not very good.
Or his government.
But I feel like the bridge is so burned at this point in time that it doesn't even matter. That's kind of why he's already done the condemn thing. Like, I think he did it yesterday, but
I think so.
Yeah, it's kind of just at this point in time, like, it doesn't really matter. But I think he's trying a different approach here. Maybe this is better. I don't really know. He's fucked either way, so I don't know if he can save face.
Hindsight's always going to be 2020. Like, we should have done this, we should have done that, but
such
I
as
mean,
she
how?
does.
Yeah, like what good does that do us? Being like, oh, well, we should have done this, we should have done that. It's like, okay, well, yeah, like we should have, but we didn't.
Yeah,
so
if we didn't have the data or whatever, I guess, then right, yeah. But that's not how this time is gonna go, motherfucker. Because right now, we do have the data, and we're still ignoring it.
Literally.
Feels good.
Oh yes, we're gonna close down for 2 weeks.
It's like, you know what? So
it's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, the 2 week thing. In principle, I do agree with the small amount of stuff. The 2 week, the 3 week thing. I'm like, okay, this would be fine. But the thing is that the amount of time that you close for, or the amount of time that you implement these measures for, has to scale with the severity of the measure, and then of course has to scale with the effectiveness of the measure as well, right?
Right.
So keeping those two things in mind, and then looking at these measures that we're implementing, we're essentially doubling our strictness in most cases. I guess where the math's a little wonky, it's almost doubling with the retail capacity thing, right? Because we're switching from 15% to 10% for that one, and then yeah, and then we're cutting the outdoor gatherings in half from 10 to 5. It just feels like we're we're just strengthening these restrictions a little bit, but in reality, I just don't think that these things have been like overall very effective in the long term.
No,
I mean,
like not at all.
I guess it depends on what your goal is, though, right? Maybe we've been effective enough at stopping and like keeping the hospitals from being crazy overwhelmed, but have we been effective enough at easing up enough like hospital capacity that we can deal with other surgeries and stuff? I would say we're like miserably failing in that respect.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. Going through, I wonder if I can go through the list now if they have it up now.
I think it costs more the way that
They should. They had it up earlier, like straight on the government website.
Well, I don't think they actually had the list of things. Kenny was
I'm pretty
announcing
sure
all
they
of
did.
it. One second.
I looked at it earlier today. I'm pretty
You've
sure
seen
it's
all
on
this
there.
already?
Yeah.
All these measures?
Like
Oh,
all the stuff that he talked about, I already saw.
fuck.
About them like cutting back the K to 6.
Well, I knew about
learning to going online, and then
yeah.
like every point that he brought up was already I've already read it. I saw a post of it on Reddit. Actually, no, not even on Reddit. I literally just straight up looked it up. I just went COVID restrictions Alberta, and then
Oh, here it is. I'm a dumb bum.
Yeah, there it is.
Fuck, this isn't a
Wait,
list.
no, that's not it. Fuck, I saw it earlier. He literally talked about it. He said, go to
I forget what he said.
Alberta, alberta.ca hyphen stop the spike.
Does hyphen mean slash?
I fucking don't know, dude.
Let's try it.
Ah, yeah, there it is. So keep scrolling down.
Baller.
Keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling down. There you go.
Okay. This is the same as what they did last week. These restrictions remain for 2 weeks. Okay. Schools.
Schools.
So
it's grades.
this is what they did on
12.
Tuesday. This is the new one.
Yeah. Yeah.
K to 6. Yeah, this is just doubling down on this policy, which was a good one to begin with. We know this.
Yeah,
from our studies.
and so he was saying the K to 6, they're now they're going to be going to at home learning.
Yeah, which is good. That probably just should have all happened at once. I don't know. Maybe
Correct.
there's reasons why they didn't. Maybe because he kind of mentioned that it'll be hard for like
It'll be
parents
hard
and
for
stuff,
teachers
and that would kind of
parents and
make
stuff like
sense
that.
because usually these grades you have like people who can babysit themselves in these in
Yeah.
this age range. So you would need a parent or somebody. So maybe I could understand that there's complications and they don't want to deal with that. I could at least understand that, but this probably should have been done anyways. Indoor fitness.
still staying the same.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about this one really. If they're yeah, it's staying the same as what was on Tuesday or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that one doesn't bother me too much, if I'm being completely honest.
yeah, studies I've read. I don't know if it's something that people know a lot, but in places like in gyms and stuff where you are doing physical activity, you breathe more, you project more aerosols, you project more water droplets, which is what carries the COVID-19. You project it farther. So even if you're cleaning the machines and stuff all the time, it doesn't really matter. It's just gonna be a cesspool for spreading. So,
Yeah,
That kinda just
unfortunately,
makes sense.
Kind of like no matter what you do.
yeah. Indoor sport, performance, recreation is kind of the same stuff. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about that.
Nope.
Those seem fine.
Province-wide restrictions, I'm pretty sure these are. You talked about some new stuff about like the new fines, right?
Yeah, indoor social gatherings prohibited. Outdoor social gatherings can have. Okay, this is incorrect now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
supposed to be
so
5.
it's
He did
now
say 5. Yeah. So 5 people. I think this is just not enough. They probably should have just scrapped the entire.
He
Gathering
said
thing.
5 people, but it should be limited to like family cohorts of 2.
Yeah, that's like what they recommend. Which I don't know why they didn't just go with that. But okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, because they're cowards. Exactly. Cowards.
True.
This will be enforced for 1,000. I thought he said it was 2,000 now, so this is incorrect as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Oh.
2000s. Yeah.
1 second. What's your question?
My question is, they talk about like, I feel like they're doing this 2-week on, 2-week off thing because they're like thinking they're gonna save some money, the economy in that way. But wouldn't it? To me, it sounds like it would even cost people more to open and close like fully, like they have been. Instead of like just having like 3 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks where we close everything.
Economically, yeah, like economically closing everything like New Zealand did and doing a really hard lockdown makes a lot more sense because then you can open everything up for
open,
like months at a
close,
time.
open, close, open,
Yeah,
close.
or half open or whatever, or restricted.
Like, the
Yeah, no.
procedures to fully
There's
close
gonna be a
down
point.
stores and stuff is like costs a lot.
There's gonna be a point where having like 10% capacity for like retail businesses ends up being like not profitable enough for a lot of businesses to pay their rent, pay their wages and stuff, and then their overhead. Yeah, so at this point in time, it just seems like we're just delaying the inevitable. We're just doing like things that just don't seem, I don't know, reasonable. And then now these people are probably not going to be eligible for, because they had to stay open. They're not going to be eligible for like government supports and stuff for people who closed, maybe, right? So now people are going to slip through the cracks. Mm-hmm.
They never are eligible. So when they do shut down, they're not eligible and they can't get the money.
Yeah, this is just a really, really bad way to go approach this entire situation. Yeah, no, it's bad. Okay, we'll go through these now. Indoor social gatherings. Indoor social gatherings prohibited. Cool. Yeah, I don't think this has changed either.
A leftist? I'm a neoliberal. I don't know if like leftist is the correct terminology I would use.
You're left socially, but you're more economically
right.
like central or
yeah, central or right.
I wouldn't say you're right. You're not right at all. You're still kind of progressive with that, but you're just like lib. You're center.
I'm a lib.
You're a lib. People who live alone can have up to 2 close contacts. Okay, this is nothing that's changed here that I know of. I think this is just an amalgamation of all of the restrictions in this one page now, right?
So it might be, yeah.
Find the other things.
I would assume so, yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Outdoor social gatherings. Did they change this one? Okay, so this one still says 10, so that's incorrect.
Yeah.
Backyard gatherings that require movement in and out of homes are not permitted. Attendees should remain distanced at all times. Cool.
Have fun on Twitch. You're going to get a lot of hate from leftists. That's fine. I mean, if leftists wants to... Like, the leftists are tankies. Right?
Not all of them, but it depends.
Well, not all of them, but I would say, like, a good majority of them, like, the ones that are going to hate on me for being, like, neoliberal, are, I would say, just a bunch of tankies.
It could be, yeah.
Right?
I mean,
like,
regular lefties might not like you either, though, because... like it's kind of part of the leftist like ideology that if you accept capitalism, then you're kind of like cucking everything.
But I think the same I think like a point can be made where it's like I might not like capitalism, but I still have to accept it. Like that's the reality of the society that I live in.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Right.
No. We can be realistic, and then we can also be progressive. I don't know.
Yeah, like I would akin that to the same point that, like, you know, I'm sure Thomas Edison got a bunch of hate for inventing the light bulb because people were like, this dude's smoking crack.
Oh, when he was trying to invent it, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
But, like...
You work within the system. That's the thing, like, people have to understand, is that you have to exist within the system that that you may have criticisms of and oppose and stuff, or whatever, too, right?
True.
So.
And I encourage all those leftists to come to my channel because that's just more support for me. Thank you for stopping by the channel.
Yeah, fair. I don't know. Twitch seems to be like fairly left-leaning, which is like pretty good in my opinion because I'm a lefty. Fuck yeah. But I don't think that it's necessarily like overridden by lefties. I have more people coming into my chats saying like trying to debate me about Trump because I have his name in my bio than I do like left-leaning people, so it seems to be a good amalgamation. Out-of-town travel and visitors. Returning to Alberta, blah, blah, blah. I don't think this has changed, right? He didn't implement any kind of...
No, he didn't implement any
kind of travel restrictions. So that's a miss right there because that's one of the easiest. Mind you, I think the federal government has to do more about that. What's that?
I think I'm getting some kind of feedback from your mic or mine. I think I can hear myself or something.
Where would that be coming from?
I do not know.
Here, maybe I'll just turn down my speaker a little bit. Maybe that will fix. Weddings and funerals. So they reduced the amount of people who could go to funerals, right?
Yeah, he said it's 10.
10 now, so this hasn't been updated either.
Essentially, they took all the restrictions that we had in place and they cut them in half.
Yeah,
Essentially,
for
that's
a
all
lot
they
of them,
did.
yeah.
And I'm like, that's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, places of worship. That was an interesting one. I thought you just weren't allowed to worship at all, but then he was saying something about that places of worship had a 15% fire code, but now it's just 15 people in general. That's
It's
just your
15
straight number.
people, and then businesses are 10% of fire code.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's businesses.
Or five customers, which I'm like, I mean,
yeah.
I think they also need to really hone in on the fact, like he's saying, like, oh, like if you can stay home, you should.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, they aren't giving any sort of like incentive for businesses to tell their employees to stay home.
Well, everyone has to work. Oh my fuck! This is a stupid thing, dude. This is the actual like the Papega take. They refuse to do anything to incentivize people really to stay home. So what I mean by that is that everyone needs to work still, right? So they're not closing down like some things are kind of getting closed down. It seems like here, but it's so selective. That like the vast majority of people are still going to go out and do things. If stores and retail stores are still open, even if they're at lower capacities, people will still like people don't think about that when they go to shop. They just think, is this place open? Is this place not? If I need this thing, I'm going to go and buy that thing, right? They don't think like,
literally.
oh, fuck, I should reduce my shopping down to 10% of what I did before to make sure that places are at 10%. People will just wait in the lineup outside and spread it still. It's just this is why these like it's not really useful.
All right, just give me a second. I'm going to read off a comment here.
Algae.
What makes me sad is seeing that a third of leftists not even be able to answer basic questions like how will jobs be allocated in your perfect socialist world, and what level of violence are you okay with to get your revolution? Quotation marks.
You have a Destiny viewer in your chat, don't you? That
I
sounds
know.
exactly like Destiny's critiques of socialism. There was a socialist that he was talking to today that actually gave really good answers to those questions.
So how will jobs be allocated in your perfect socialist world? Let's start with that one. So I guess, I mean, honestly, I think we need to like wait till we get to a point of like automation, right? And once we get to a point of automation, like people won't need to work for a living anymore. So
That's the ultimate goal, but there will be some kind of like.
yeah.
I think his question's more to do with the transitional
in
phase
like
and stuff.
in the transitional.
Yeah,
mean
because
term. I think
like,
the transition. In the transitional mean term, I think we need to provide people with a universal basic income, and then
Based.
Sorry.
Based.
Oh, universal. Oh, you're saying that's based. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We need to provide people with a universal basic income, and a part of getting that is I think we need to incentivize corporations to essentially pay for it in a certain way. So like, you know, we tell corporations like, hey, you lay off X amount of people, and you know, to make ways for your like automation kind of thing, right? And then you know maybe the government will provide you with a good tax break. Like that's.
It probably has to work the other way around, really. They probably, if they automate jobs, then they probably have to get taxed because now they're laying off people, and now these people are going to be on UBI.
Sorry. I was saying that backwards. Yeah, so like the companies are going to get taxed for laying off people, but the upside is that when you replace people with robots, you don't have to pay robots. Right.
Yeah, you just upkeep and stuff. It's a lot cheaper.
But that response is a weird one. Sure, I may reconsider socialism once we start running out of jobs like 50 years from now, but people have been advocating for this shit for decades now. How would that allocation work today, not like 40 years from now? So, like, I would say a good example is like if you go to any supermarket, right, they have the self-checkouts, right? I would say this is kind of a poor example, but this is what we'll go with because this is what we have available to us. There are stores like the Amazon store where like literally everything is like, I think almost everything in that store is completely automated except for stocking the shelves. Like you will still need people to like stock the shelves.
They've automated a large portion of their jobs, yes.
Yeah, right. So Amazon, for example, let's say Amazon is like more places like Amazon pop up where almost the entire store is automated, right? The government says, hey, you know, you're not employing our people anymore, like our citizens. So to counteract that, we're going to tax you, right? We're going to tax you. So the wage that you would be paying to these people is now going to go, like some portion of it is going to go towards the government. I think the government has to obviously not rely 100% on the corporations for this, or else it's never going to work. The government has to be willing to give here, because the government can print money infinitely. We can all agree to this.
The federal government can. Individual local governments, the more localized you get, the much less. This is like an actual thing.
I'm saying, like, the federal government has to step in on this. Like, we're never going to get anywhere in like a local government.
Yep. This is why our federal government right now, Canada, is at least considering UBI.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of benefits. This stuff is like really, really nuanced and super complex.
Yeah, it is.
It would take a really, really long time to explain all of these things, but we could. Could we go through the rest of this real quick and then dive into that, because there's lots to say with that stuff.
Okay, just give me like one quick little thing to kind of like wrap it up. So like places like the Amazon store, we have to say, hey, you have to pay some portion of a big corporation tax, right? Like not like what you would pay your employees, but say, hey, if you lay off, let's say 50 employees or 50 quotation mark employees, quotation mark, then, those employees would make X amount of dollars a year. You have to pay the government X amount of dollars. The government, I think, needs to match that to some degree, if at least not 50%, 100% of what the corporation pays, because federal governments can do that. And
there's some balance that needs to be done, sure.
Yeah, it needs to be balanced, because if you rely solely on corporations, you're never going to get anywhere.
Potentially.
We can all agree that corporations are greedy, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
They at least have their best interests at heart. I think that's fair to say. So the government needs to match that. Then, with the government matching that and the corporations matching that, everyone gets some form of UBI, Universal Basic Income. And I don't mean like in the sense like this only goes towards the people who are laid off. I think this should go towards everyone, right? Because then it's more of an incentive for other corporations to hop on board with automation, right? Which means that the more corporations you have on board, the more essentially money is flowing around your economy, right? And then the more money that's in your economy, the more people are getting paid. The more people get paid, the more your business sells, because people suddenly have money they can spend, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't get shit from the government right now either, other than debt.
Let me know.
But it's kind of like once you get the ball rolling, I think kind of takes care of itself.
The middle stuff is definitely a lot messier and a lot more like complex.
100%. Like, this is super, super simplified. I want to make that very clear. That
we also have to like understand too that right now we're not talking about, like, when we talk about our end goal, we're talking about. I'm guessing what you're describing sounds exactly like resource-based economy, which is what like my end goal is.
Yeah.
And that's definitely not socialism. Socialism to me is like a step in the middle, like somewhere to like along the way.
Oh, no, yeah. Socialism is a step in the middle. And I would say like getting to that step in the middle there, I think we should need to like maybe get towards some form of like, I've said before, I'll say it again. I think a good stepping stone that I think is very achievable in our very near future would be some sort of like stakeholder capitalism.
Yeah, that's probably one of the first steps. Yeah.
I think that's going to be one of the very first steps that we need to get on board with.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from there, like, it's going to take time, like 50 years. Like, we essentially need to wait for technology.
Yeah, to some degree,
right?
Yeah. Technology has been like moving at an expedited, increasing rate, so it's hard to really nail down exactly like at what point in time is this going to just all suddenly be possible. But yeah. But things to consider.
But yeah,
sure.
yeah. We'll jump more back into that stuff.
Yeah, we'll come back to this topic after
going through the COVID restrictions. But huge shout out to Lavender Gunner for bringing up that topic. It's a really interesting topic, and I advise everyone who can to look into it, because this is our future, right? It's only gonna change if we do something about it. Like maybe it's not gonna change if I sit here talk about it, or if you sit here talk about it, but the more people who talk about it, the more widespread it's known. And even if people are gonna blow us off and say, oh, that's never gonna happen, people have said that throughout history for thousands of years, millions of years. People have said that throughout history that that's not going to happen, that's not going to change. But here we are. And I mean,
I think talking about it is really important too, because like a lot of people are pretty hooked on the socialism thing, and they talk about it like that's the end goal. And I think that's kind of problematic. I think there's lots of problems with socialism, and I think that most of them are addressed with resource-based economy. And not very many people have any idea. Like, not very many people have ever even heard that that system before. So talking about it, I think, is actually really, really important.
True. But yeah, let's go back into the COVID restrictions.
Yeah, back into COVID shit. Cool. Yeah, and then we'll hop back onto that after. So I was just looking at the retail stuff. So 15%. This is probably down to 10 now because it said retail and
It
shopping
is,
malls,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So and I think that's what
He said
said.
it's down to 10%. So 10% of fire code or minimum of 5 customers.
Yeah, and I think that's the same. Minimum of 5 stayed the same.
Yeah, minimum of 5 stay the same because like there are some places that have like such like small square footage.
Yeah, that the
Right, for, like,
employees
a
by
fire code?
themselves essentially would be 15% of the fire code or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah, but I think my main issue with this is just that it's like if we're gonna do like especially when we're talking about the 2-week, 3-week thing, getting back to that, for lockdowns, if we just did a circuit breaker and just closed for 2 to 3 weeks, that would probably be a lot more balanced in terms of like effectiveness of
I
the
agree.
response, strength of the response, and then the time frame, right, that you allot it to for getting what kind of outcome that you desire from it, essentially. The reason that I have a problem, the only reason I have a problem with a 2-week figure is just because I know that these measures are not going to be effective.
No, we've done 2-week figures before and they weren't effective then. Like, yeah.
And now
maybe
we're going to
they
have to deal
helped
with people
flatten-
memeing the just 2 weeks, guys thing because this isn't going to be effective either. And I'm going to have to fucking deal with it's so annoying.
Yeah, like maybe it helped flatten the curve a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. But we literally have the data that says, okay, if you want to do something meaningful about this, don't do 2 weeks. Shut down for a month.
Yeah, 2 weeks a month. Well, whatever it is, right? It just depends on how much.
Right.
Well, like I said before, it depends on how strong your measures are, right? If your measures are weaker, then it's going to take longer for them to be effective, right? So.
Yeah, but we both know that there's like even if they implement like strong measures, like being like, hey, people aren't allowed to go anywhere for 2 weeks, right? How many people are really going to listen to that? Especially like now, there's so many people right now that are just absolutely done.
Yeah, it depends on
with
enforcement,
COVID.
right? I mean, if they close down a bunch of
Right.
businesses, that's the thing. If the measures are actually effective and they actually close down like non-essential
If
retail
they-
business for
If
2
they
weeks,
close down
there's
a bunch
nowhere
of
for you to go.
businesses, yeah, but I still think people are still going to hang out with other people.
Yeah, I don't think that I disagree with that being a large contributor to the spread. Jason Kenney has stated that multiple times, but their contact tracing has failed. They only have data for 40% of contact tracing available. So, or 40% of like origin of spread was known from their contact tracing, or less. It's just not enough data for them to actually know that, like for them to actually accurately claim that most of the spread is via like people hanging out and stuff. I just disagree.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's just my position. Yeah, so I guess that's that. Restaurants is pretty similar, right?
Restaurants are closed. They're only going to be open for takeout and delivery.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened last Tuesday.
That's what happened. That's what happened last time.
Yeah.
Or not last Tuesday. It happened last time.
Indoor
And
fitness,
then-
outdoor. I don't think any of this has changed.
All that stuff's going to be closed except for by appointment.
Right.
So that's pretty much it.
Was that it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very, very simple stuff.
Overall, very, very meh, I guess. I laugh at the
very-
increasement of fines, and I do really enjoy the fact that if you don't pay your fines, you're going to be not able to renew your driver's license. I think that's hilarious,
True.
and I laugh
Very
at dumb
fucking
fucks.
true.
But I don't know. I guess that's it for that. Do you have any other final memes on this one?
No, I mean, I think it's a complete waste of time if I'm being honest with you.
Mhm.
These kind of like soft lockdowns. Like, I don't want to be in a hard lockdown. I really don't. But I sure as fuck don't want to be in a soft lockdown because
Yeah.
it's not doing anything.
Yeah, I feel like the animosity that this is going to garner and the lack of effectiveness combined with it is
Ugh.
going to be essentially that people are going to feel more restricted because they're being told that they are for 2 weeks, and then they're not going to see much of any effect, and then they're going to conclude that lockdowns don't work, which is pretty much what a lot of other people have already concluded, right? Because we haven't had lockdowns, so they think this is a lockdown, and then they say lockdowns don't work. But
Literally, it is terrible.
truly. Okay, cool. Well, then that's covered. I'm just gonna go through my chat here before, because lots of people have been commenting here, before we hop back into that other topic, I guess. Then, where did I leave off? Okay, I'm replying to people now. Dylan Freedom, man, I am super distracted by the fact that you are using Microsoft Edge. Oops. Yeah, I'm a boomer that way. I like the I don't
It's
know.
super cringe.
It is pretty cringe, but it's technically just Google Chrome now. It uses the same like what's the word? Coding or whatever the fuck. So big peepee. Yeah, I'm a boomer. You're welcome. No, I'm just kidding. Cruz said 3 weeks. Oh wait, I don't know why. Oh, 3 weeks because of the restrictions, right? Yeah, lol. And then T Nova, wake up, dude. 0 flu cases, a collapsing economy, and Schwab dictating a new reset. Are you even on this planet?
I saw that comment, and I was like, can't tell if sarcasm or if serious.
Wait, what? And Schwab dictating? Who's Schwab? Or is that a word?
No. That's the person. Remember, it's the Great Reset. He's the Jewish guy.
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah. It all comes back to the Jews. Please stop. Please. Just stop. Just think
Please
about what you're
stop.
saying with your brain, please. I implore you.
Unless you hate Schwab because he's because he's Jewish. I mean, then that just makes you anti-Semitic.
I mean,
Right.
what's the difference? Okay.
Well, it could be because he's rich. That could be the difference.
But that's the same thing though. They just hate rich Jews. They don't hate rich. They don't
Yeah, true.
they don't hate rich white people that aren't Jews. All you have to do to test this theory is be like, okay, you don't hate like people being rich. What's your opinion on Donald Trump? And then they will like have to defend him. That's how you know. Okay. OP.
So let's see. Are we at war against the government? You have a lot of growing up to do. Do you know the difference between endemic and a pandemic? You sound like a pussy that is afraid of a cold. Lol, you are a sad boy without a girlfriend. I think, are you?
What? Are they talking to me? Lamau?
Yeah,
You're
I'm pretty sure
welcome.
to talk to you.
Very good.
Universal basic income is the worst idea. Retired people that would win $5,000, $6,000 per month will win less. Lol,
Wait, what
robots
English?
that I
What does
work
that
in.
even mean? Wait.
I
What
don't
is that?
know.
What are you trying to say? Universal basic income is the worst idea. Retired people that would win $5,000 to $6,000 per month will win less. What does that even mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm so
Lol,
confused.
robots. I work in robot, and with robot will never happen completely. Having robot will just mean for a company more employee, not less.
I mean, yeah, that's the inherent problem with capitalism.
Yeah.
As you automate things, what happens is they just are able to make more product more efficiently. So instead of just trying to meet demand for like a product, what they'll do is they will create more demand artificially and make more and more and more and sell more and more and more. And then so instead of having us like a robot to replace your job, where you like work less hours but get paid the same, instead you just like work more because now you're trying to meet more demand. It's very, very annoying. In Canada, they will introduce DST, digital service tax. Guess what will be tax on internet has a service porn? Is that porn? Are you trying to say they're going to tax porn?
Are you trying to say they're gonna tax porn? I like the other guy.
Big sign.
It is a loss of time and the lockdown. I don't agree with ending the lockdown. I think that we need to have
The
stricter.
DST is on page 717 of the budget. Will be $41.68 billion per year.
Alberta's in rough shape regardless of the COVIDs. Well, if I die at 75 from COVID, it will be COVID 69. At least I will die from something sexy. Shit, Mark 75 is a decent run, sir. Good trolls.
The DST is on page 77. What does that mean, DST? I get daylight savings time when I look up DST. My brain.
Type in DST government.
DSTG has an annual budget of approximately 400.
No, that's the Defense Science and Technology Group. Go in DST Alberta or Canada. Go DST Canada tax. Like just type in digital service tax. That's what you got to type in.
Oh, fuck! He said that earlier. My big
Yeah.
brain.
So new digital services tax will raise the price. This is from CBC. I'll even drag this over so my viewers can see it in case you guys are curious.
Can you stream it in
I can
Discord?
stream it in Discord. It's just a CBC article. Like,
Yeah, I'm just curious.
I should be live now in Discord. So, new digital service tax will raise the price for things like Netflix, Amazon, and Spotify. Government says new tax could raise more than $1 billion.
Oh, is this the new? Oh my God, no! Don't tell me this is. I was just talking with Mitch about this yesterday. You're talking about Bill C-10, aren't you?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're talking about.
They're not going to charge you as an individual. God damn it, you dumb fucks.
Yeah.
They're just Netflix is operating here, and because Netflix operates, essentially because there was no legislation to properly like collect revenue from places like or companies like Netflix that are operating in Canada through internet services essentially. There was no legislation for them to be able to do this. Essentially, there's like an unlevel playing field because Canadian law has rules for broadcasters who do like satellite TV and broadband, and then there is regulation for like radio stations and stuff essentially that they have to have so much Canadian content and that they have to pay so much to the government so that the government can fund Canadian-based services and stuff. Like these are all like generally positive things, but Netflix and companies like them have been operating outside of those sphere essentially for the last little bit. So they're just leveling the playing field essentially and making it fair across the like. So if you have problems with this, then you have problems with all of the other like the same rules that they have against like broadband and satellite TV and stuff. Like, but you haven't talked about any of that for like the last 20 years. So like I don't.
So Metal Mania says, how will they bill for that on the service provider bill? Yeah. So essentially, what they're going to do is they're going to build the streaming services, right? So that the charges appear on their invoices. It's just like Novus was saying. It's the same way that like Canadian broadcast stations have to pay a portion of money to have their stuff aired, so that they can continue to support Canadian artists, essentially, right?
Yeah.
They want to track where you spend your money. With the new budget proposal that is not on Bill C-10, the new DST isn't mapping completely. I mean, if they're going to track where you spend your money, if that's what you're worried about,
But your money's already being tracked where you spend it. What do you mean?
Yeah, yeah. You probably shouldn't have a bank account. You probably shouldn't be on the internet. You should probably go live off grid.
That means nothing.
Not trying to sound like an asshole or anything, but people that are just like, oh, they're gonna track us and they're gonna put microchips in the virus so they can track us. It's like
all of these things are already tracked.
The government doesn't care about you that much to track you, and if they did,
I mean, you're on social media right now. In order to sign up for social media, you need to like sell some amount of your like personal information to them, and then they sell it to other like companies to sell ads to you and send ads to you. Like I don't like we're being tracked everywhere we do on social media. Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a good thing for sure, right? But after 2022, are they passing a law specifically that says after 2022, if you use a VPN, then you'll be charged with tax fraud invasion, or is this just fear mongering? Like, is there evidence of this that this is going to be a thing? Because I don't think that they would end up being able to. And okay, something that we need to keep in mind here, if we're talking about especially Canadian legislation, is that the Liberals are a minority government. They can't pass any legislation without help from the other parties. They cannot. They need help from the other parties to pass the legislation. If they put a legislation forward, or any kind of bill forward, and they don't have the support of the other parties, it throws them into an election. It forces an election. It's called a vote of non-confidence. They don't want to do that, clearly. So they have to work with the other parties. This is why problems with Bill C-10 were brought up, and now they're addressing them, right? This is a good thing. This is transparency at its finest, essentially, because a majority government would be able to just ram through everything that they want. So we're actually in the best situation possible to have protection from all of these things that we're talking about right now. So we need to be really, really cautious when we create slippery slope fallacies here with these things.
True. Let's see. Yeah, so like you just stated, like you just agreed saying that like they already know your movements and your trends. So why would they be worried about, where you spend your money? I don't understand the fear behind that.
Well, it's all the same thing to them. The purpose of them tracking where you spend your money, and the purpose of like you signing up to Twitch or YouTube or Facebook or whatever.
Twitter,
The
Facebook,
purpose of all of this tracking
Microsoft.
is literally just to sell you things. That's literally
Yeah.
it. They track where you spend your money so they can target you with ads to go back to places similar to that, and then they can make money off of ad revenue. I don't agree with it necessarily, but is it as insidious as we assume it is? Do they have these 1981 or 1984 intentions of like surveillance for the sake of like restricting your freedoms? No, they're just trying to make money. This is capitalism. Of course I fucking staunchly oppose capitalism for sure, but we need to like actually talk about the real problems.
Let's see. The elections will be about Bill C-10. When they get the majority after the election, they will pass a budget without Bill C-10. So that's the hiding strategy. I mean, I don't think the Liberals are going to get a majority.
This is super baseless conjecture. We're now assuming that they're gonna get a that they're gonna throw themselves into an election and that they're gonna win. You can't guarantee any of these things. Like, this is like super hard fear mongering. I'm not even biting this bullet. Like, not at all.
Not at all.
And the conservatives are even becoming more progressive so that they can try and steal some votes from the liberals, which to some degree might be effective.
Let's see. C-10 won't go through, but they'll slip 5 other more lethal bill through on the down low. I mean,
well, there's no down low. They're a minority government.
Yeah. They can't just be like,
there is no down low.
You wasted your votes on not letting C-10 go through. We're just gonna throw in all these other bills that no one looked at. Like, that's not how that works.
Wait, are you from the United States or are you from Canada? Because minority governments are not like really a thing in the United States. So I don't know if you understand how they work in Canada.
True. This also could just be from not knowing.
Yeah, minority governments in Canada like have some amount of like measures in place essentially that control for corruption to some degree, right? I don't think it's clearly not flawless, but the issues that we're complaining about here are very, very easily controlled in this aspect. And especially the conservatives are fucking super loud about things that they think are problematic. And sometimes they point out good things that are problematic. Of course, they go around the corner and do the exact same thing, but because
they're a bunch of fucking wankers.
Yeah, it benefits them to talk about or to bring up problematic things that the liberals doing, even if it's something the conservatives would do. I work with MP. You work with an MP?
No. MP. I'm assuming MP the company.
Well, MP also means a member of parliament.
Oh, sure, it does. Anyways, I have Valheim started up.
Yeah, we'll open up Valheim here. Cool. I'm gonna turn my chat back on, I guess. Oh, I'm opening up Discord again. Big brain.
Anyways, Lavender Gunner. It seems like all I do is pay taxes and not get anything out of it. Well, I mean, like, maybe you personally don't see anything out of it, but I mean, you get roads, you get access to healthcare.
Yeah, it's a lot of things.
Member of Parliament.
Yeah, it is member of Parliament.
I think it's a lot of things that might get like. I think it's a lot of things that might be kind of like taken for granted kind of thing. Or I don't even maybe want to say taken for granted, but maybe just like a lot of things that like might not understand that you kind of have like a luxury to.
It's more just things that
right,
we like that we don't it's kind of like the girlfriend that breaks up with you or whatever and you never appreciate her until she's gone. Just things that we don't like necessarily pay attention to because they kind of in our brain become what's the word? It's kind of like autopilot, I guess, maybe, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Like, do I understand that these are all things that like, I also take for granted? Like, yeah, 100%, but you can't. I think if you focus on that aspect, you're not going to get anywhere.
Well, we just have to be
well,
what's the
won't
word?
go broke for a tonsil removal.
Yeah.
Oh my god, why is the keyboard not working? Oh, because I gotta click it. Please work.
Oh, please. Oh, also, I don't know if Derm sent you a message on Discord, but he sent me a message on Discord saying that like he has he has like a server, and that if we wanted to hop in and just like
Focus on what I
dick
don't
around, fuck around
understand
and
your
stuff like
point.
that, then we can do that. Like, he gave me the password and all that for it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to... My Valheim's being weird. What is this square? Is that... Oh, it's Steam, isn't it? Fuck.
What is this square?
This square. Okay, there we go.
We don't like squares in this neighborhood.
Lamau. Fuck, what were we just saying? Were we just replying to you in your comments? I didn't finish my train of thought.
Oh, I was saying, seems like all I do is pay taxes and get nothing out of it.
Oh, okay, sorry. So, yeah, to Mark, I was saying we need to focus on
But no, Lavender Gunner. Or were you saying, like, to my guy?
Huh?
Who are you replying to?
Oh, to Mark,
The guy
cause...
in your chat?
Yeah, because
Okay,
he said focus on what I don't understand your point. Because I started saying something in reply to, like, your chat, but I forgot what it was.
Gotcha.
We just need to focus on... So in reply to that, I feel like I pay taxes and I don't get much out of it kind of thing. We just need to focus on...
Yeah.
And, like, be realistic, I guess, about what we actually do get out of things. Because, especially things like taxes. Taxes afford us the entire quality of life that we get to enjoy in our current capitalist system. It's crucial, I guess.
I live in Alberta. I think taxes that go toward Medicare are decent, however the unemployment and CPP is a sad program.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, for sure. There's definitely problems with these things. We do have to, like, understand that, those things still are afforded to us somewhat by taxes and stuff. Even though they're, like, inadequate, I would say, it is, like to some degree, what they are is better than nothing, and so like that we do like we should appreciate that at least, but we should be really highly critical of things that fall short still, if that makes sense. Like, so it's kind of like roads like the 13Army said are a really great example of something that that we just take for granted. You wouldn't be able to get to your job every day in your like vehicle or whatever, or in your public transport without roads, and those are funded from taxes, and from there that allows that by itself affords you a much higher quality of life already, because then you have the ability to choose your job a lot more. You don't just have to like choose a job that's like really close that you can like walk to. It gives you more options as an individual, and emboldens you in that way to select a job that works better for you, for your mental health, for even pay and stuff like that, right? Lots of things. It kind of sprawls out from there, if that makes sense. And lots of other things, of course. Yeah, like unemployment, CPP. Yeah, Canadian pension plan is pretty.
I found a loophole in the CERB where everyone should get $20.36 per month from E.I rather than $2,000.
$36 more dollars. Okay, I mean, if it works, why not? I guess. The CERB program, to be fair, if you found a loophole in it, it's probably because it's probably more likely that there would be loopholes and stuff and things like that, because the point of CERB was to get money to people as quickly as possible, and not so much on like whether or not it was like a flawless, or even like it was like a good enough amount of money for people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know. Like, personally, I had an issue with
CERB was full of loopholes, no doubt.
I was like, how is it really fair that like, and this, like I said, like it's like fair, which is like it's not fair, but like how is it fair that like people who don't have to go to work are able to make more by being at home than what I would make at work?
Yeah, for sure, and that's a problem with employers and
yeah,
and like competition and stuff, I would say, and largely this kind of all stems back to capitalism too. If CERB is based on what people need to survive and pay their bills, and some people can survive off of CERB and get paid more from CERB than they did at their other job.
Someone stole my identity and got into E.I while getting CERB, so I had succeed in receiving EI instead of CERB.
Someone stole my identity and got into EI. Oh fuck. And got into EI while getting CERB, so I had succeeded in receiving EI instead of CERB. That's very confusing to me. I don't understand what the point is. So somebody stole your identity, but then you ended up getting EI instead of CERB? I mean, that sounds shitty. If someone stole your identity, then that's like really unfortunate. But I don't completely understand what you're saying there, I guess. This little goddamn goblin. Oh, fuck.
I know many people that got laid off and signed up for EI, which they are entitled to.
Yeah.
But they sent them CERB-CHQS instead. That's not right. Correct.
Fuck. Oh, they sent them CERB instead. Oh, that's because at the time when they were doing the CERB stuff, the CERB system was designed to be very, very quick and efficient for people to jump onto if they needed it, and it was all about getting people. Onto like some kind of money system that would help them out as quickly as possible. And EI was a little bit clogged, right? EI is a little bit slower at getting approved.
A little bit.
Just a wee bit less.
Just a wee.
Yeah. But was EI better than CERB? I'm not sure. Is that what we're saying, or is EI worse than CERB? What's the?
I think the general consensus was that CERB was better than EI.
Well, I was on EI for because I went to school before. I went to school for 2 months for electrical. Fucking mosquito, god damn it! I went to school for electrical for like 2 months.
Yeah.
And then when I got out of school, it literally the pandemic hit immediately, and so I just stayed off work because there just wasn't any work to go back to. And I was already on EI from going to school, and so they just kept me on EI. The whole time.
EI is ob better.
It's obvious better. Okay, cool. Yeah, because EI was fine for me. Like I just sat at home and didn't like do anything and conserved my small savings from EI essentially, and it was enough to pay bills and whatever, so it was fine for me. But I'm not sure if that would be enough for.
It's
other
earned
people.
money the person paid into. CRB was free money.
I don't think so. So EI, largely like it's not just like EI doesn't work like it.
Plus CERB they didn't take taxes off.
Yeah, not taking taxes off CERB would fuck people, so that's annoying. The thing with oh fucking mosquitoes, god damn it. The thing with EI.
I know so.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. The thing with EI is that it doesn't just like go into like your own personalized account when you pay for EI every like paycheck or whatever, and then they only take it out of your personalized
EI is
account, right?
$20.36 per month that include 214 of tax or equivalent of 2,250 per month.
Right.
CERB is 2,000 no tax off. Dude, it does work like that. EI, you work, you pay into it, you collect it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I get that
you had to do nothing.
That's not necessarily how it works, though. You're misunderstanding. You're acting as though EI is a system in which, fuck. Yep, died.
You're still.
Oh, wait, no, I'm alive still. You're acting as though EI is a system where you like pay into.
I'm on my way, Quentin.
Oh gee, it's fucking skeeters, dude. Holy fuck.
There's a skeeter and Peter, rack it off.
And there's 2 fuelings. So EI. Goddamn, I'm just dead again. Oh no, I'm alive. What the fuck? Okay, EI. You don't just pay into like an account with EI and then like withdraw your money later and have this like this is
2am
like
saying EI
money.
is the same as CPP goes into a pool.
This is my.
Yeah, it goes into a pool. Yeah. How am I not dead yet? I don't understand. I've been just like slapped by fucking.
Just keep it. We take this.
I don't understand.
Alright, I
Okay.
still have the harpoon if we want to go kill some more sea serpents. I don't see a point in us needing to, but...
Oh my god. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second and I'll finish my statement after I'm not distracted as a motherfucker.
For young people, CERB is better.
Okay, I'm dead again.
I just watched you
Okay. I'm not gonna run out there, okay? Give me 1 second. Unless you're with me, maybe. Then I can walk and talk. Fly to me. Fly to me, 13Army.
Where are you at?
I'm back over here. Okay, so EI is for all accounts and purposes, essentially identical to CERB, like in for what its purpose is essentially. And whether or not like I individually paid into.
You got a skeeter already.
Fuck already, god damn it. Whether or not I individually like pay into CERB or not, or sorry, into EI or not, like monthly, doesn't mean that like I've earned that money necessarily. Like I should have a right to it for sure, and like that's good. But these things, like the reason that we pay into these services and stuff is because
was a fast emotional decision. CERB, I feel. I think a lot of CERB people would not have to pay tax on it, making very little a year, I assume.
Okay, so yeah, these are like complex things, right? So to understand this, CERB, they needed to do it quickly because people were getting laid off or people were going to be laid off, either or. Like it was kind of inevitable because people's fear would have essentially reduced mobility, regardless of if restrictions were implemented or not. I'm not sure if there's much of anything useful in this one. I think I died much farther away. Yeah, this is useless.
So that's not yours. That's Derm's.
Oh, okay.
One of your death things is like over here, my dude.
Over there. Okay. So.
Yeah, and it has like a bunch of stuff on it.
Wait, am I blind?
That's all your armor.
Oh, you found the one with the armor? Sweet.
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh my fuck. Okay. Give me one second.
Point taken. At 88 Metal Mania.
Take all. Bonk. Oh man, I need to heal my armor.
It's not that complex, man. You pay, you are entitled to EI. CERB, you breath, you get it?
Okay, no, you're making it very simplistic. That's the problem here. You're acting as though just because you like pay into EI, that makes you like somewhat like that makes it different than CERB, in like principle. Effectively, the two payments are one and the same. The only reason that they made something different was for purposes of like that EI was complicated to get, and that they knew that EI was not going to be like simplistic enough. Like EI is the more permanent one. CERB is supposed to be temporary, right? So CERB is only supposed to last through the pandemic until people are good, kind of thing. Again, it's supposed to be a very, very quick response because essentially if people get laid off and they need to pay their bills and stuff, right? Then they need to be able to essentially get onto CERB or something as quickly as possible, right? So it's a response, and this is something that has been largely what's the word, backed by science for something that's very, like, it's called a social safety net. It's something that's extremely necessary for fighting things like pandemics effectively, because if you introduce lockdown, so if you introduce a lockdown into Canada to fight off the downsides of the pandemic, essentially to stop the spread and stuff, because you don't have a vaccine yet, and those are the only things you can do to stop the spread.
Sure, give everyone free money. Let's be real.
Okay, you're strawmanning me right now?
Yes, good argument. The respond was a good thing.
You're strawmanning me when you say give everyone free money. That's not the position that I'm taking. The position is harm reduction. The point of this is to reduce deaths, right? So if you implement all these measures, which you need to because there's no vaccine, right, at the time, to reduce deaths or whatever. So you do lockdowns and you do and you close services selectively and stuff. People are going to be out of a job. These people still have car payments. These people still need to eat. These people still have children that they need to feed. These people still need to feed themselves. Like, you need to keep all of these things up. If you don't keep these things up, then people's quality of life is drastically reduced, and lots of people will suffer even mentally from this. Like, these are like long-term
I am talking
effects
only
about,
about EI and CERB, not all this fluff. Once again, you're in the emotions, sir.
I'm not in the emotions. What do you mean? You're literally calling CERB free money. You're the one who's speaking emotionally. You have no idea what you're talking about. That makes absolutely like I know that on the surface it seems that way, but it's not how it works. There's actual real life reasons for these things and the implementations of them. That's what I'm saying. So CERB is meant to reduce harm because people still need to pay their bills if they're laid off. That's it. It's very simple. It's very, very simple.
It's simple. We eat the rich.
EI was too slow, and EI is a long-term thing that's more meant to for.
It was free money. EI isn't.
It's not free money. You completely don't understand. You think that people are just like choosing to like get laid off? Do you think that the people who got laid off from their jobs just chose to get laid off? You think they're just like, yeah, I'm just not going to work and get CERB?
That's all I am saying.
Come to sleep, brother. Wait. There's a fooling here.
Oh, it won't let us stay asleep, will it?
Long term, dude, you get 8 months on EI. I agree with Novas, there will be people with car payment that needed CERB fast.
Yeah, that's it. It's-
E.I is very slow. I did not choose to. Yes, I would say many used CERB. A lot needed it, but most scammed it.
No, that's a lie. That's statistically not correct. It was a very, very small amount of people who did it. And here's another question too. If somebody's going to take advantage of a system, should we just not use that, or should we just not implement that system then? If any amount of people are going to take advantage of a system, should we just not implement it?
You, my friend,
Even if that
clearly
system-
don't talk to nearly enough fucking conservatives.
Yeah, I know, right? No, if that's the whole point of these. Okay, if you have a system that helps people, but other people may potentially abuse that system, does that mean that you should not help people with that system then?
100%. Fuck the people.
If you were on a social service program, could you get it?
No. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe. It depends. If you're on a social service program, you probably aren't working anyways because you're probably, like maybe with AISH and stuff
Nova,
like that.
that is
you
a
probably
very
aren't able to
strong
do it.
argument. A system that helped people.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's literally it. Like that's the entire concept, right? It's just to help people, right? I obviously there's flaws with it, right? Because it was meant to be really quick of a response, and I believe it was based on like a scientific model that prioritized reduction of harm to people from like negative economic consequences of locking down and stuff, right? And they knew that it just had to be fast if they wanted to curb that. Because think about it this way: if the government says we have to lock down things, and then they do enforce those lockdowns, and then people just get
No,
laid
you
off.
couldn't, but many did. It wasn't a system CEB, it was a money toss. I get it, it did help many and was needed. Put through fast was not a program.
Alright, so let us go to our ship, which should be here.
Very good. Oh fuck! Stab myself.
Good job.
Oh, there he goes. Bye bye.
Without it, it would have been sad, no doubt. I am happy people were saved. Get back to the lockdown, why the government?
Yeah, that's pretty much
Well,
it though,
fuck, there's
right?
t-
Like
There's 2 boats here.
that's all I'm saying is that like it was just necessary essentially, right? I know that these things aren't flawless for sure, and I'm not arguing that they're flawless. It's more that it's just necessary, right? I guess if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Get back to the lockdown. Why the government? What do you mean by get back to the lockdown? Why the government? Sorry, I'm just trying to understand what that said. What you mean by that?
Actually, sometimes the restream cuts off what people are saying.
Does it or?
I
maybe
think
you
so,
just kinda-
because I know the Facebook guy, he had made a comment.
That your last words before you got cut by robot voice.
Oh. I don't remember what I was saying. I'm sorry. Oh no. Is the robot
And he
voice louder
never
than my
will.
voice? Does it cut
Our
me out
Alberta
when-
guy Kenny's a bad public speaker.
True.
Kenney has bad public speaker. This is confirmed.
Yep. Although he has enough skills, I think, to get by with it at least, but it's not helping him get reelected, that's for sure.
I don't think anything is going to help him get reelected.
True.
Actually, that's not true. If he gave into like support and like pressured the federal government into a UBI.
Into a UBI?
Oh yeah.
I don't know, dude. I think that Albertans are so
I
sold
think-
on conservative memes.
True, but I don't know. Like if he did it properly and was like, hey, you know,
Kenny is a
we
pussy,
want
his
this
fear our
because
fear.
This will help
True.
people. That shit was way high.
Sorry, what was that? the 13 Army?
I think there's a way in which he could.
So I operate a building downtown Edmonton.
He could
Big
try to
rally at
convince
Henshaws
people.
office. I go to check it out.
You don't even convince people, but try to get people on his side by saying that. So you don't want to go
Yeah.
to the first boat. You want to go to the second boat.
Well, I just died, unfortunately.
Was like 20
I see
people
your
LOL.
corpse.
Army. Smiley
How'd you
face.
die?
I got bombarded by literally like 4 mosquitoes in a row. I killed 3 of them, but then like I just kept getting fucked by them. I don't know where they came from. Oh, I think Cruz is the Facebook guy, by the way. They just called you Barmy.
Mother fucker.
Hell yeah, Cruz. OP.
Oh, it says Cruz's name like on Facebook.
Yep.
Like on your chat.
Hell yeah.
But no, but there's the other Facebook guy like way earlier
Was
in
there?
the thing. The guy that was ripping on you for using fucking Edge, which I agree with. Edge is trash. You fucking
Oh, that was
Edge.
Dylan. Hell yeah, Dylan OP.
Ooh, Tyrell Shard commented back on my thing.
Kill myself. I just died again.
So Carrie Ball was like, "Oh, happy lockdown number 459. Wish I was born in Australia, right?" And I was like, "Or New Zealand." And she's like, "Yep, essentially anywhere but here, where the state's law."
617 peoples at the
And
Church of
then
Arthur
I was
Pawlowski.
like,
I still have
even
Trophy
China is doing better than
congratulations.
us. And then Tyrell
You've
Schreiber was
received
like, China rules
100
the world
messages
now. And I
today
was like,
with
I don't think
Rest
that's
Ream
entirely
chat.
true. And then he's like, not entirely, but their GDP grew 2.3 while the US GDP dropped to 2.3. And citizens of China and other countries can be on oath/allegiance, plus they own the 4 largest banks in the world.
Wait, what are we talking about? Sorry, can you repeat that?
So,
Kyle distracted me. Blame him.
Carrie Ball was like, happy lockdown number 459. Wish I was born in Australia. And I was like, or New Zealand. And she's like, yeah, essentially anywhere but here or the States. And I was like, even China's doing better than us, right?
True.
And then
That
Tyrell
trial
was
just
like,
got
China rules
started
the world
at-
now. And then I was like, well, I don't think that's entirely true. And then he was like, not entirely, but their GDP grew 2.3% while the US GDP dropped 2.3%. And citizens of China and other countries can be on oath/allegiance. I'm not entirely sure what that is. And then he's saying, plus they own the 4 largest banks in the world.
Wait, did you just say Chinese people own the 4 largest banks in the world?
China.
Wrong.
I don't think he's saying Chinese people. I think he's saying China.
Oh, yeah, you're right. China and Chinese people are different things. I'm sorry. That was a very
Correct.
big blunder on my part.
Correct.
The central bank in the United States is the
First-
biggest bank.
First, we have you saying to kill all Jews. Now we have me make you direct correlations that Chinese people and China are basically the same thing.
Why do you
When
keep
I'm
doing
getting
this
a
to me?
little worried.
Oh my god, I don't think I've been streaming my game for like the last like...
You fucking idiot.
True!
You're just
Imagine
like,
Sleepy
"Ah,
Joe
I'm dying,
raising
I'm
capital
dying."
gains to
Your viewers,
40% might slow down the markets.
Hello, meow. No, I think that's pretty funny. That person claims that Chinese, like the 4 Chinese banks are like the largest in the world. I'm positive that the maybe I don't know what do they mean by largest. Maybe that is correct by some weird metric, but by far the most influential would definitely be the U.S.'s central bank, and the most powerful. Easy claps. Okay, I gotta catch up on my chat again now.
Thank you.
So I operate a building downtown Edmonton, big rally at Henshaw's office. I go to check it out. It was like 20 people. Oh, Mal. That's a good meme. That's pretty much it. They advertise it like, oh, we're gonna uprise, and then it's like a small amount of people. To be fair though, it is definitely alarming, the amount of people regardless. Like any amount of people like buying into that is more alarming than I would want it to be. What else? Barmy. 617 people at churches of Arthur Pawlowski. Oh, that was one of the churches that's like rejecting the shit, isn't it? That's annoying. That's a lot of
Yeah.
people. That trial just got started, eh? Imagine Sleepy Joe raising capital gains to 40% might slow down the markets. Oh, I don't even know. I haven't paid attention to US stuff too much.
Are you over here?
Wait, where am I?
You're over here.
I'm right here. Protect
Oh.
me, senpai. Which
Oni-chan.
trial are you talking about?
Protect me, Oni-chan.
Oni-chan.
Oh, there's a
100,000 in Montreal,
Run.
Quebec about.
Oh my god, he fucking wants you, dude. Oh my god, why
100,000.
am I so bad? Okay, they're dead.
Dank. 100,000 in Montreal, Quebec. Dubois? Is that like a... That was how many people were in a rally? I don't think I believe that 100,000 people were in a rally against COVID. That would be
The
wild.
church pastor trial of that church, they put him in jail lol.
I think there was a.
Oh,
I think I saw
lol.
something online that there was like they had a rally in Montreal and then like 600 and some people went to it or something like that. Like people were like marching in the streets.
Well, 600 makes sense, yeah. I'm not sure if that's what Mark is talking about here. They just said 100,000 in Montreal, Quebec, Dubois, but I don't know what they're talking, or Dubois or whatever, but I don't know what they're talking about. They just said that, and I'm
I
not
think
sure.
he
Oh, fuck,
might
one
be
second.
trying to say Quebecois.
Quebecois. Quebec, Dubois. Fuck, I don't even know. I've never seen Quebecois spelled that way. But fuck, I don't know French, so who knows? Which boat am I going to?
Quebec, Devout. Devout? I don't know. The second one, the one that's farther out, that's our boat.
Okay, cool.
The one that's closer is not our boat.
Beauty.
Fucking beauty.
I guess I should have went to this island first.
My
Probably.
contacts are
I
telling me
watched you swim when I ran all the
200,000,
way
but they
to
are
the island, and I was
exaggerated.
like, well, he's an idiot.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely wasn't 200,000. If it was 200,000, that would be extremely alarming, and I would expect that somewhere like Alberta's been having like way worse like anti-lockdown protests, I think, than actually maybe.
True.
I think per capita, I think we've been worse for sheer numbers and stuff. I'm sure that the actual like rallies that are happening in other places look pretty crazy though, but I mean you have to keep in mind that the population of those areas are actually like massive in general too.
I think they are promoting the rallies wrong. They should be promoting it as gun rights rally. Might get a few more people out.
Oh yeah, no, they tend to do that kind of meme a lot. Yeah, that's true. They'll do like the yellow vest rally, and it'll be like they'll like be pretending that it's for some sort of like rights that they feel are being infringed upon, when in reality it's just like an excuse for like a bunch of like Proud Boys and Boogaloo Boys and whatever other like right-wing like nationalists to like come out and like
LOL.
larp their guns. Lamau.
But Quentin, who's driving the boat?
Who's? Oh no! Barr!
Wait, see those locks off in the distance?
Yeah, in Alberta for sure lol.
Lamau. Good old Berta.
$10. Is
Are you from Alberta as well, Mark? Or are you from like Quebec?
I'd have to owe you $10. Fuck! I missed twice. I'm just gonna stop wasting my arrows.
Let me out. Big brain. Do I have very many arrows left? Oh, I've went through a lot of my arrows.
I went back to the house and I made more arrows. That's how many arrows I've gone through, Quentin.
I believe it. I have so much flax on me. 58 flaxies.
I've got flax on my back.
Oh, my bag. I gotta repair all my stuff anyways. It's all... Well, my armor's quite worn, let me tell you.
Yeah, Alberta Calgary
Oh,
Forest
you're
Lawn
back
in
to
the
the
hood
house?
CEO of the PPC.
CEO of the PPC. Alberta Calgary Forest Lawn in the hood. What the hell? Not the PPC. Big spook. We
LOL.
talked
Not
about-
the PP. Actually, did we talk to someone from the PPC?
Yeah, Mark.
Mark,
Like
right?
the other Mark, like Mark Friesen that we talked to was from PPC, but I believe I think he lives in Saskatchewan, doesn't he?
I think he lives in Saskatchewan, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote us on that, though. We could be vastly mistaken here, but I'm pretty sure he does live in...
Oh fuck, we're gonna hit something.
What? Oh,
Turn right!
Fucker.
Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. Just kidding. Wait, keep turning right. There's more island. Yeah, keep
know.
turning right.
I want to stop at this island.
Oh, okay. Let me know.
We need one more head thing.
Oh, and then
Like,
we'll have enough to summon your boy.
Yeah, I want enough to summon your boy.
Nice. Whee!
Let's go find another village.
Village.
And hopefully not die in the process.
Truly. Do you still have Buddy in chat that wanted to talk about socialism stuff, or?
He might be lurking, or they might be lurking, I shouldn't say.
Okay.
They might be lurking.
Because I just remembered I got like super off topic with like all my chat stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of why, like, I think it's, it's really hard to engage with chat in like a timely manner. I find like
I feel like
I'm
us having a
"Hmm,
collective chat when we stream together would be much nicer, you know? Having everything in like one
True.
spot would be baller.
True. I don't know how we would accomplish that though.
I have no idea. I don't think that's doable, but I mean, well, it's
Maybe
probably
like
doable, but
Maybe like a third-party streaming application.
mhm.
Maybe like it's like that's what comes to mind. But
Oh, Skeeter coming for you.
there's a Peter on my Skeeter. Whack it off.
There's a Peter on your Skeeter? Fucking
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
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 Oh, there's a village down there. I don't know if it's one that I've been to already, but
We check it.
there's one down there.
Whee!
Oh fuck! I thought you were a mosquito for a second, and I was like, "Motherfucker!"
I know, they come out of
no!"
nowhere, dude. Holy moly.
Literally.
The worst.
I wish that there was a better like stamina regeneration
I agree.
in this game. Oh, I'm out of Queen's jelly.
Oh, wrong button.
Bonk you boy, bonk you boy, bonk you boy.
Why didn't you release?
Bonk you boy, bonk you boy.
Why? Why isn't it releasing? What the hell? What the fuck? Did they change how this works?
No, I still have to only click once. Maybe they changed it for.
It's not
control.
shooting.
Try letting go.
Yeah, it's not working.
Okay, so like draw back and then try pressing it again. Press it again.
It's not working. It
Is
just
your-
releases.
Is your trigger sticky? Oh,
Wait, does it
you
hold
just
the
did
charge?
something. No, it's never held a charge. At
What
least
the hell?
it might for controller.
I don't know what's going on, but that's very useless to me. What the fuck? I have to look up if they updated this. This is insane.
Yeah, the sad
No,
truth.
it's all good.
CEO, a funny thing is my cousin was a member of the parliament.
Yikes. Your cousin was a member of the of the PPC? No way. I'm just gonna have to use a sword and shield. This is useless. What? Oh, I got speared.
You? What? I was like, man. I was like, what killed Quentin there?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Fuck
got
me.
speared.
God damn.
There's just speared as well. I'm still alive, but oh fuck! I missed. I fucking missed.
Oh, we're so far away. Oh no. I don't think there's much
My
hope of me
cousin was
getting to
with
where
the
you're at.
Liberal in Quebec.
Well, there's another boat, at least over there.
Okay, I'll try.
Like,
I'll try my best.
There's another boat right there.
I'll try me best.
You could also just teleport, because the teleporter is like over like here or something like that, and then you could teleport to second and then run all the way up to where I am here.
Yikes.
I don't know how effective it's gonna be, but you could do it.
I'm gonna try the boat method. I'll try that first. How about that? Fuck, I got skeetered.
Boat method. Fuck.
This is gonna be painful, okay? We're entering into the twilight zone of 2 hours of me dying in the plains biome like yesterday again, okay? It's a good
True,
time.
it was pretty fucking funny.
My cousin was with the Liberals in Quebec. Oh, okay. Well, the Liberals are... At least they're not as cringe as the PPC, okay? We're doing better there. But that's not much of a compliment, okay? It doesn't take much to be better than the PPC.
True.
Oof. And also the Liberals are capitalists, so we spit on them.
Fucking love one-tapping shamans. Put your whole tongue on my taint.
No. No.
Why?
Sorry, I just saw a skeeter.
Oh, I thought you were saying no to me, and I was like, why would
Oh, yeah,
you
no.
not want the shaman to put his tongue on my taint?
I do want that. That's a very nice visual, you know?
True.
Agree many PPC were cringe last election.
Yeah, thank God they didn't get much attention or much of anything really. Like their votes were minuscule. But my God, it's definitely some wild stuff. Our conversation with Mark is definitely pretty eye-opening to the level of how do I put this?
Ignorance.
To some degree, yeah. Just I would say like almost lunacy. Like that, like it's just like when we try and attack some of the points and stuff based on data, and we're pretty confident in our assertions. We're like, I don't know how we're gonna rebuke this. Everything just leads back to conspiracy. Everything just leads back, like everything.
Everything just leads back to George Soros, baby.
Yeah,
Let's go.
It's just all like George Soros memes or like it's like it's right-wing populism, right? It's just like extreme like belief that the elites are like in control of everything, and like to some degree I like do subscribe to like left-wing populism like ideology and stuff, right? So I don't think like populism necessarily is always
Lunacy
a bad
like
thing.
3 ethic violations.
But
I hear ya.
If you wanted to go back to the
Yeah.
base, you probably could, just because I got the totem.
you grab my stuff?
Oh, that's right. You need to grab your stuff.
No,
Grab
that's
your
fine.
shit.
That's fine. I'll do. I just gotta get in this boat here. Bonk.
Die.
Okay, now hopefully there's no skeeters on my Peters.
There's a skeeter on a speeder. Whack it off.
Whack it off.
There's a skeeter on my Peter. Whack it off. Whack it off.
Whack it off.
There's a skeeter on my Peter, and I really want to meet her. There's a skeeter on my Peter. Whack it off. Whack it off. And now to
Lunacy like 3 ethic violations, I hear you. What do you mean
Finish
by 3
your
ethic
tough please about
violations?
the left wing.
Oh, about the left wing. Oh no, what did I say? Oh no. Do you remember what I said, the 13Army? My brain is so absolutely
What?
spaghetti. I was saying
What?
something about left wing. Oh, I was saying left-wing populism. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So left-wing populism, I tend to find, so this is where it becomes problematic, okay? So this is a really hard conversation to have with people, and then they understand what I'm saying, so I need to be very, very specific when I say these things. Left-wing populism can absolutely be super fucking cringe. For example, if you guys know the political commentator like Crystal Ball, who does a news thing on the Hill with what's his name, Sager? I forget his first
Where
name.
the fuck are you going, dude?
Oh god, I forgot to turn. Big brain. Now what else is or Jimmy Dore. These are really great examples of absolute fucking lunacy, left-wing populism. Just absolutely like balls to the walls, like stupidity in my opinion. So left-wing populism, to be fair, can be really cringe. But the left-wing like populist ideas that like I subscribe to, I tend to find are more based in like reality, and trying to be realistic about solutions, because it's all about solutions, right? I don't want to hype us up about how bad the elites are and stuff, and then like offer like really like terrible solutions to things. I want us to be realistic about things. So I want us to be like, hey, kind of seems like pretty sus that let's say for example that the motive for like everything in the capitalist structure is money and not like human happiness, right? And that essentially like people like let's say for example when we talk about what's his name, when we talk about Bill Gates from Microsoft, right? And how he's super rich.
He recently got divorced, eh?
Yeah, there was some kind of thing I saw about that. Yeah, that where he was getting divorced or something. Yeah, big sad. But anyways, when a lot of populists talk about people like Bill Gates and stuff, they'll mention the fact that like how much money he has is problematic, and this is true. But I tend to disagree on like a lot of like the assertions that a lot of populists will make. Populists tend to be really susceptible to like conspiratorial thinking, where they think that like just because you have lots of money, that makes you automatically like everything you do is a bad thing. This is why like right-wing populism that Mark presents us with, Mark Friesen specifically, has presented us with, is like pretty weak in general, because it's a lot of like
Cringe.
believing that just because George Soros has lots of money and he's a part of the and his name is like associated with like a what's it called? Not a charity, but like
The Club of Rome.
the Club of Rome or whatever. Yeah, and like organizations that like are trying to fight like poverty and world hunger and stuff, and like climate problems. Essentially, they'll just think that because George Soros is related to this, and because he's a billionaire or a millionaire or whatever, and millionaires and billionaires are bad. Essentially, that means that like any kind of like charity work that he does or whatever must all be for like evil reasons and stuff. It's super fucked. In reality, we can.
Actually.
Yeah, in reality, we can actually just criticize these problems. Oh fuck, these goblins are. Oh my god. We can criticize these issues with a little bit more nuance. Oh my god, is he gonna climb up here?
Wait,
You gotta be
goblins
fucking kidding
climb?
me. I just got skeetered on the boat. And the goblins are destroying the boats, by the way. I have no
it's
way
fine,
of getting
I don't
back
care.
there now. I'm gonna need you to like probably bring me my stuff.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'll just wait at the other spawn point because there's not much point of me going anywhere. Yeah. So, essentially, the left-wing
Get
populism
those
that
turd goblins? Oh hell yeah, Derm.
yeah. The left-wing populism that I subscribe to essentially is more about like recognizing the issues with people just having vast amount of money and stuff, and that how it's problematic in that it reduces our abilities as individuals to fight for anything that would make the collective like good of and the collective like happiness of individuals any better. Because essentially when we want to get something done, like say increase like vaccinations in like impoverished countries and stuff, we literally like are relying on people like Bill Gates to just be charitable. And it's good that he's doing these things in to some degree, but I do not like the fact that like we have to rely on charitability from billionaires and stuff in order to reach these systems. So essentially what I advocate for then is I recognize the problems with billionaires and millionaires, and then we advocate for policies that will tax them better and redistribute the wealth better, essentially.
Okay,
Instead of just like
so in a court
fear-mongering.
judgment, how would you propose to fix a solution to the loser side? If money is not a good way to compensate, how you make someone happy?
Oh, we're talking about like the justice system then? That's kind of like a bit of a pivot, but in that situation, it's really hard to juggle that one, right? In our current situation, we perceive some amount of like solace will come from punishing people for the wrongs they do and stuff, and I don't necessarily think that actually correlates. It doesn't tend to like actually increase like somebody's like happiness when a wrong is done to them and then someone is punished in response. It tends to just create more long-term suffering.
Oh, if you want to
However,
hop in, by the way, Derm, you can. Feel free to.
cool. However, it is important to note that if somebody does cause financial harm to somebody in any way, shape, or form, and even like we could even say psychological harm to them, let's say, and then you could say that like money in our current system of capitalism where money is a thing, you could say that like getting money from that person who caused the harm to pay for the like therapy and stuff that's needed would be completely reasonable in my opinion,
So happy
in
I
this
got
system anyways that we're in
it.
currently. If that does that make sense? I don't know if I'm answering your question completely, but oh my god, there's a little goblin at the fucking
Tons
house.
of people work for their profit, and most of that profit is hoarded by a single name, and CEOs will still fight against even one wage increases. The problem is that I don't think it's necessarily CEOs. Like, I think there obviously is going to be some amount of CEOs that will fight against stuff like that, but I think it's also the fact that we live in like a shareholder capitalism system where it's like there's the CEOs could be like, hey, like, yeah, like we maybe need to like increase wages, right? But the shareholders should be like, yeah, no, fuck that. And the problem is that like, even though CEOs, you know, generally have the most power in corporations or businesses and stuff like that, they don't have the final say. They have board of directors that they have to appease to. They have so many other things that they have to appease to, where it's, I feel like it's all these other people, because all those other people think like, oh, if they give a 1% wage increase, where'd you go?
I died. I'm coming back, don't worry. There's two goblins that are just chilling. You see them?
Yeah. Because they're saying like, oh, like a 1% wage increase is going to fuck over the company, and they're going to fuck over my profits, and
Go fuck myself. Go fuck myself, I guess. Oh my god, where are they coming from?
Right. CEO
fuck.
usually go with the
Oh,
flow
that
for
was
the big
funny.
bonus.
Oh,
But the
fuck
def
me,
answer
man.
to the board.
Lamau.
Oh, that shit killed me. I was just watching you, bro.
Just watching me, bro. Will it not let me open it?
Okay.
Why won't it let me
No,
open it?
I'm putting your shit in here, so just relax.
Okay. Like, what the fuck, yo? Yo, what the fuck?
Yo, what the fuck? Okay.
Yo, what the fuck?
Okay, you should be good to go. At least they could distribute money to or more to people making the company work, but yeah, they want their profits. Yeah, so that's why I heavily believe in something called shareholder. No, stakeholder. I always get it confused. Um, if Scooter had a voice, it would be Samuel L. Jackson. Literally, surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah. Literally.
But yeah, I firmly believe in stakeholder capitalism because it essentially it does that. It allows the better distribution of wealth to employees, consumers, like the whole kind of like 9 yards, all the cogs that make the company work. Essentially, do you wanna sleep here?
Yeah,
And
sure.
then we can just travel in the morning.
Sure.
I can hear the goblins.
It seems to me like and I've said this before, but it's a pretty good way to like describe it to some degree. If you actually understand what the word socialism means, and you're not a memer who thinks it means totalitarian government, then a good way to describe stakeholder capitalism is kind of like socialism light.
Yeah, so
It attempts to do some of
social
those things.
And I think as we've said before and many times, I think we'll say many times in the future, stakeholder capitalism is a really good stepping stone to getting to where we need to be, and I think we just need to. I think we need to get the fear and the animosity away.
Unfortunately, a lot of people's 401ks and retirements are on some of those big companies' books.
Communism, because it's not that. Like we're not trying to take away, what little that you have as consumers. We want everyone to be on the same playing field and to expand it for all people, right?
Yeah.
Like just because Bill Gates is a prime example. Just because Bill Gates owns 99% of the pie, if we divide it evenly amount all people, that doesn't mean you're only going to get 0.05% of the pie, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the idea. People think that, like, in order to create equality, they need to give up something, and that's not the case at all. That's a misunderstanding of how these things work.
Exactly. Happy medium between capitalism and socialism, not a handout, but better distribution towards the means of production rather than just the owners of it. Yeah, exactly. And then people who nag socialism as a whole need to check their healthcare law. Correct. Only Sith deal in absolutes. Correct. Also, happy May the Force be with you, or May the 4th be with you, I should say.
Big truth.
Because it's May the 4th. So.
Yeah, I find things like socialism, when I talk about it, I like to see the merit and the value in their prescriptions and the value in how some of the things they say are right, and then of course like most systems, right? Not everything is going to be like completely flawless, including the system that I am like in most support of, being the resource-based economy,
system
right?
That you prescribe to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's not about being flawless. It's not about being like utopian, and people will try and paint it that way, and to discredit it. It's very, very frustrating, because it's all about it's essentially just about the best solution that you can muster. Essentially.
Exactly as Durham said, we're not dealing in absolutes, because we understand the huge flaws in that. I don't know. You probably want to repair your gear before we head back out to pick up the rest of your stuff, or do you even care about the rest of your stuff that you had on your person?
I need some of the rest of my stuff, because there was like the key and the fucking wishbone that was a pain in the ass to get.
Okay. a lot of time socialism are example based too, and there's a lot more behind failed examples than
No, but those
sorry.
aren't actually socialism though.
No. He's saying a lot of anti-socialism are example based too, and there's a lot more behind failed examples than just that word.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Sorry. He corrected it.
Gotcha.
I was
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's because the thing about socialism is that it's an economic theory,
anti-socialism
right?
argument. Yeah, exactly.
So we have to, and because like socialism doesn't, like, at least in its economic theory state, it just doesn't exist in the real world. We have to essentially discuss it in theoretical, because that's
like
the only
Durham was
place it
saying
exists.
how like a lot of anti-socialism arguments will be like, oh well, look how like
I am
how,
3
like,
minutes
look how
behind
it
on the
was
stream,
bad
got
here, but the problem is we
interrupted.
don't have any
CEO
real-world
only vote when the
applications
board
of
is one half
socialism. Like, people
on a
always-
point of
People
order.
always say like
Oh,
Cuba,
okay.
or what's the other place that people like to point to? Cuba and what the fuck's that place called? Laos.
For socialism, there's
Yeah,
Cuba,
yeah.
there's Venezuela, there's
Venezuela, that's the
there's
other
China,
big one, too.
there's
Was it
Russia,
Argentina? Yeah, people say Argentina too.
Bolivia.
None of those places were socialist though. Like they may have been socialist on paper. Like they may have said like, oh yeah, like we're socialist, but they're not socialist. Like
Well,
anyone, like China
yeah.
isn't socialist. We can
No,
all
just
agree
because they
to
have a
this.
party that says like the Socialist or Communist Party does not instantly make them that way. You have to look at that.
But we can
and then
veto
look at the
any
word, like, that's,
proposition,
like,
slightly
socialism or
smiling
communism,
face.
and then like define it and see if it actually meets the criteria for what the definition is. And
Yeah,
of course, when I look at things like China and Russia and stuff, and I see like the end results of the policies they've enacted, that's not what I want,
There's a troll.
right? So I'm
There's
never
a
going
troll.
to. I'm never going to support those things because that's not what my end goal looks like, right? And I would never defend. Like, I'm not going to defend the premise of any of those countries because of that, because that's just not what I want, right?
History has lots of us meddling too, so who knows? We can get conspirational if we really want. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, the whole like imperialism meme and stuff.
Yeah.
Damn, that head just rolled, son. Okay, let me see. I am 3 minutes behind on the stream. Got interrupted. CEO only vote when the board is one half on a point of order. Oh, like when there's like.
Oh, that's what we were talking about, like where how there's just like
But we can veto any proposition, they say.
so that's where Durham was saying thousands of people work for their profit, and most of that profit is supported by a single name, and CEOs will still fight against even a 1% wage increase.
Yep.
And so I was making the argument that it's like I don't necessarily think it's CEOs that aren't wanting to have the wage increase. I think it could be like, I think there's also situations where it's the shareholders, because just because there's like a CEO doesn't have complete and utter power over the company.
It's anybody who has like a stake in the company to some degree, that and democratic power to control the decisions that the company makes, right? So shareholders to some degree would usually have some kind of sway, right? And their sway.
Shareholders have a lot of sway. Lot of sway.
Well, that's the person who gets paid out with the dividends and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or
and
it depends
there's,
on how it's worked.
There's one CEO compared to however many shareholders.
Yeah, I mean the thing is though, they're both aligned with their goals though, right? Which is just to maximize their individual profits, right? So I don't know if it really matters whether or not we're specifying CEO or shareholders, though it is good to specify that we should include all of them when we're talking about these things. They all really represent the same thing.
It's like you can make an argument that like, oh yeah, like a CEO can make a motion forward, but the shareholders can veto it. Like, that goes both ways, you know. The CEO could be like, hey, I think we need to be paying our people more fairly, and the shareholders should be like, yeah, perhaps not. I don't think that's what we want to do.
You're not going to see that happen very often, because that goes right against their those two things are in direct competition with the values and the and the interests of those people, right? They would have to, like, generally the CEO would have to take some kind of pay cut, or the shareholders would have to take some kind of like cut, right?
Or you have to see some sort of like market increase, right?
No, they're just gonna want that. They're just gonna want that portion of the profit for themselves, though, right? That's the issue.
Yeah, generally they will want, that profit portion for themselves. But if the CEO can, I think, spin it in a good way, seeing like, hey, like, you know, if our profits increase, you know, by this much, and let's say that increasing our wages is a direct correlation
Or
of
you
that,
would pass
then
it down
by,
to the
you know,
consumer.
having another wage increase, we can further increase our profits, right?
This is okay. So we're just doing the trickle down economics meme right now, which is like a failed concept, right? Like I understand what
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
saying in theory,
essentially.
but this is one of those things where we can critique like capitalism in the real world because we have real world examples of how this stuff actually
Minimum
works,
wage
right?
or profit-based wage, whichever is higher, would be cool. Probably wouldn't want a profit-based wage,
It's
just
possible
because a
that you could pass it to the consumer, but in the real world, we just don't do that.
profit-based wage could be very problematic if profits are very low.
Profit-based wage is absolutely just cringe in general. My ex used to work for Mark's Work Warehouse, and they gave raises based on like their sales essentially, and she got like a 12-cent raise like 1 year, like, and I don't think she was there for much longer. But
they
like,
could.
that doesn't even keep up with.
Long-term. But they could easily make that only long-term workers and work for high turnover. Yeah, very true. That's when you start getting into like what people are providing the most for your company.
And I think the value of your labor should not be like determined by the profitability of your company necessarily, right? Like that's another thing too.
True. I definitely think we want to more stay close to a minimum wage based system, and then just have a. I don't even like a minimum wage. I think we should have an affordable wage, right? Like our minimum wage should be exactly what the absolute bare necessities are for you to get by.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, it's going to end up being very localized then, right? A small town within Alberta is going to have a very different like minimum wage than a city would have, right? For example. Yeah. Because like paying rent would be included in things like this. So.
Yeah, and it's also going to be based on a case by case basis, because like if Quentin has 3 kids, and I have no kids,
so
then your living expenses are going to be much higher than mine.
Yeah, so theoretically, you can't base the minimum wage on that because things get way too complicated then. Maybe down the road with automation and stuff, it would be possible to use algorithms to check for these things. However, if we have automation that good already, I would assume that we've just started replacing like jobs and stuff. So
if it goes lower than minimum wage, which should be higher probably, then they get it, like make it additive. Government officials should only be allowed to make a wage based on minimum wage. Lol, true. Government officials should be forced to live on minimum wage.
Truly. Oh fuck, I almost left something behind. 1 second.
Because I think any government official that is not supportive of an increased minimum wage should be forced to live on minimum wage.
There's likely like conflict of interest that's like leading to them to those positions. But here's a really easy solution to this one, okay? No more Fortnite.
No more Fortnite.
We get rid of representative democracy and we implement direct democracy. That solves that problem because then you don't have somebody who's controlling like your wages like through their like essentially like dictatorial like style like democracy where like you like for example, let's go with here's a great local one right now. The federal government, the Liberals, when they originally got into power, guess what they said? No more Fortnite. No, I'm just kidding. They said $15 minimum wage. I gotta stop with that meme. It's in my head now. I can't escape. They said $15 minimum wage. They went through their whole first term without giving us the $15 minimum wage. And now I think, like, I know there's a pandemic happening within their second thing, but I mean, it seems to be like a back burner meme, you know?
Well,
this is an issue with representative democracy. You might elect them, and they might say that they're going to like do something, but then like what actually like holds them to account to actually doing that thing, right? This is why we need something more like direct democracy, or even representative democracy. Maybe might help. That could be a stepping stone along the way, maybe. But what were you saying? Sorry.
Do we not have a $15 minimum wage right now?
We do, but we're in Alberta, so that was provincially mandated.
But that was because of Kenney.
No, that was because of hell no. I'm giving Kenney credit for that. That was Notley, dude.
No. I'm saying Notley introduced the minimum, like the $15 minimum wage, and then Kenney imposed his fucking bullshit things that.
Oh, he undid part of it. So he made it so that like people under the age of 18 have like their own like separate wage, which is lower than the minimum wage.
To be fair, I am kind of in agreement with. Just
You could
because,
maybe make an argument. I still disagree with it.
like, honestly, so I think minimum wage should be higher. Do I think so? Let's just say minimum wage is $20 an hour, which
Sure.
I would say is livable in most areas.
Yeah.
Like if you I would say it's livable and you are able to afford some luxuries, right?
Sure.
Because I think that's what minimum wage should be. Because if you are just making the bare minimum to get by on your bills and you aren't able to afford any luxuries, your quality of life is probably kind of shit.
Minimum wage should be based on probably like the people who have it like the hardest and stuff, and then it should be balanced with your social welfare programs that are designed to help those people who have it the hardest. So, for example, if your designated
When
person
will
that
you be
you're
online
modeling
next
minimum
time
wage
live
on
got to
is
go?
somebody who has like
Troll following you.
when will you be online next time live? Got to go. Oh, just subscribe to me here on YouTube. We'll be live next Thursday here. Thursday coming up here, and then we're probably going to be doing like a Sunday, and then Tuesday, Thursday stream kind of thing. So yeah, just subscribe on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, and then you'll see my updates there as I go live for sure. And yeah, we'll try and keep to that schedule essentially. Thanks for popping in though.
But anyway, so if we are saying like $20 an hour, I would say is very fair.
Yeah, so based
Right.
on the math we've done, of course. Now, our viewers might not like understand. Like that might sound like a pretty radical thing.
No more
just, like,
Fortnite.
out in the middle of nowhere, but no more Fortnite.
No more Fortnite.
Yeah,
fucking
we're
heard it,
keeping
dude.
it going. No more Fortnite. I don't even know where that meme is from. It's just so good.
It's from TikTok.
Is it? Goddamn. Of course it is.
But anyways, we can explain the math a little bit. I just want to finish up my point here before I forget it.
Okay, sure.
But so if we say $20 an hour is fair, right?
I would say probably higher than that, but sure, we can go with 20.
Yeah. Do I think that high school students need to be making $20 an hour? No, I don't. If I'm
Okay.
being completely honest, like because what expenses do high school students have?
25
Right?
for
Other
sure.
than
Depends.
maybe saving up.
I
other
think
than, like, maybe saving up
$22
for-
is
for
minimum in
I'm saying, like,
Alberta-ish.
generally,
But if
most
you
high
get
school
kids, you
students
get
probably
paid
have,
more.
like,
That would be a
car,
funny way to get a raise.
Being able to hang out with their friends,
True.
maybe
My
some
chat
sort
is
of like
based as fuck.
extracurricular activities with like sports, right?
Yeah.
So do I think that they need to be making $20 an hour? Probably not.
So yeah,
Right.
maybe they don't. It depends, right? Some people like some people who are underage do need to like support themselves more than others.
Yeah. No.
Do
no,
I think that the minimum wage should be based on those
I
people
definitely get
necessarily?
that.
Probably, maybe like not like entirely, but we should keep them into account. My reason that I don't believe that like the minimum wage should be different for people under that age is I'll answer it, or I'll explain it in a question. Do you think that the value of a person's labor, of like let's say a grocery clerk, that's like that's like under the age of 18, and that's like so we're gonna entertain a hypothetical here, okay?
Sure.
So I'm gonna control for a few variables. So we've got somebody who, let's say, is like 16 or 17 years old, and they're working as a grocery clerk. Do you think that their value of their labor is much different than a like 21-year-old person who's also working as like a grocery clerk?
Okay.
And we're talking about the
another-
value of their labor. So what they are doing and what that job like costs, like what it costs the employer, kind of thing, essentially. Like what that person's work is worth, you know, as a human being.
Yeah.
I know I'm kind of loading my statement a little bit here with kind
Definitely.
of like moral stuff, but
So a couple things here. Is this person who is under 16 in school full time?
I would assume probably because in Canada it tends to be.
That's going to change my answer just based on the fact that do I think that a person under the age of 16 who can only work part-time, like a couple hours after school on a weekday and maybe a weekend,
Yeah.
I think having a full-time employee is far more beneficial to a company than a part-time employee.
Generally, it depends though, right? As we move
Because-
along here,
just
full-time
because
employees
I
generally
think-
tend to get benefits and stuff too, which tends to be like a bad thing too for companies. So it's weird to weigh these things.
Yeah,
You know? It-
but I also think that like in terms of just like pure work ethic, right? Given the fact that the full-time person is there longer, since they're there longer, generally they're going to get more done.
it's possible, but then we're basing like our
Part-time
belief,
/ full-time minimum wage.
yeah, kind of essentially. Hey, that's
All right, hold on.
I don't know if that's like
I
even
gotta
a,
respond to chat here. So we could afford childcare under Notley, and under Kenney, I would make more being unemployed at home and not paying for childcare. Good things kid got older. Household-based minimum. Yeah, it would be harder for single moms to find work if Jimmy is a cheaper hire. Correct. Those are all good things to point out there, Derm. Sorry, it took me a while to respond to chat just because we're in this hypothetical. But
apology.
I think that I don't think I'm going to change my stance on this, that I think a full-time employer generally is going to work more than a part-time employer, and then therefore, generally, I think a full-time employer is more beneficial to the company than a part-time employee.
Right,
Now,
so we're doing
yes,
generalizations here, though, right? Which is kind of the issue, is that we're like...
I'm saying, yes, also, I can reverse those generalizations and say that, yeah, under certain circumstances, a part-time employee
What are your thoughts on the current COVID-19 meta? Do you see a nerf coming anytime soon?
That being said,
I'll let you know in a second.
I probably wouldn't keep that full-time employee on my staff, because I'm like, you're here to work. If you're not going to work, then go find another job.
Well, that's kind of the thing, though, right? If somebody is like I guess not as good, I guess you could just, I don't know, like fire them.
If someone's not as good, I relate that to lack of training.
Yeah.
And I think that person should be trained better. Now, if I've exhausted hours and company money, like a good amount of hours and company money, into training this person for like the bare minimum of what they need to be doing for their job kind of thing, and they still aren't meeting expectations, I'm going to pull them aside and I'd be like, hey, why aren't you meeting the bare minimum expectations that the company requires of you? Right?
Yeah, all that stuff makes a lot of sense to me.
And
I think
if it stems from just pure laziness or lack of motivation from that individual, then I would let them go. And under that circumstance, I would say yes, a part-time employee is obviously more beneficial if that's the case. But again, generally, I think a full-time employee is going to be working more efficiently than a part-time employee.
Yeah, so I think we're just not really entertaining the hypothetical here, though. We've molded the hypothetical into your like view of the world, which is kind of why like I'm trying to like keep into that.
But
and
I am entertaining the hypothetical, and you're asking like my opinion on it.
No, yeah, this is why I. Yeah. I understand your viewpoint and stuff, but you have molded the hypothetical to be this version where we assume that
if masks don't come off soon, they're def gonna be a nerf war.
1 second. We assume that people are oh, brain. Sorry, I'm just distracted. We're assuming that people who are like under the age of 18 are like less like reliable workers or whatever and stuff, right? Like we're creating all of these other things which are not.
No, but like I understand that's not the case, because like I was a very productive part-time worker under 18.
No, I'm just I know that you understand that. I'm just saying that we're not entertaining the hypothetical. That's all I'm trying to say. Like you can keep your same opinion. I'm just like asking what your opinion is based on the hypothetical, because I'm not sure how we reach
all the nerf darts in the
any
blood.
Other conclusions.
Lots of jobs are age-based. For example, you need to be 18 plus to work in certain kitchens. You need to be 18 plus to operate the baler at Walmart, etc. Age-based minimum wage makes sense to me. If you're below the age, but offering meaningful support for your family, you can make an official request for adult minimum wages.
Sorry, could you say that one more time, 13Army? I just the chat was going off.
I was saying like, in terms of the hypothetical, right? It's very situational. It's too situational, because
well, that's the whole point of the hypothetical, is to test like your belief.
I know, but
in that.
That's why my answer was the way my answer was, because.
Well, then you're avoiding the hypothetical.
Do I think that a part-time employee is just as beneficial as a full-time employee? That really depends on the person.
Right.
And that's what my answer was.
Yeah, so my question is more based on like, so what I'm trying to understand is that if you
you need to eat food, BTW, you out of stamina.
Yeah, true. What I'm trying to understand is like, if you how do I word this? So with oh my god, sorry, my brain is fucking rotting. With
Okay,
the point of the
while
hypothetical.
you have,
Hmm?
I was gonna say if you need time to think about it, I can respond to my chat.
Oh, okay, no, I got it. So with the
Okay.
hypothetical, I'm trying to isolate the variables in which we like make a lot of like assumptions and stuff about how people like tend to be in the real world. I'm just testing very specific, like very focused points about like how you reach your conclusion essentially. So what I'm trying to focus on is like whether or not you believe that labor in and of itself should or has like
What
a
do you
static
think a
value
technician
based on
that
what you're
build
doing.
program
So,
and robot gripper should win?
for example, like the hypothetical I was using was trying to essentially say that, like, say you I'll go a little bit further with it. Say the grocery clerk and the 21-year-old or whatever, like the 17, 18 or whatever, 17, 16-year-old and the 21-year-old both do the exact same job.
Right.
And let's say they both just started in grocery and they don't have grocery experience.
Right.
Like, why would we pay the 21-year-old more? Does that make sense? Like, when we control for all these other variables.
Because he has more bills than a 16-year-old.
Right. So that's kind of what your philosophy comes down to, right? So you.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I understand
And that's
that
what I
for
said at
sure.
the beginning.
I'm
Like,
just.
I think generally most teenagers have less bills
I'd
than
enjoy a
adults,
robot
and
stripper.
therefore
That's a
don't
win
be
for
making
everyone.
$20 an hour.
Right.
If I make $20 an hour, okay, we're gonna break this down. My car payment.
Well, no,
is,
I know. I understand. I completely understand your position. I'm just curious if you at all like consider the fact that like labor in and of itself like could just like I understand that we're looking at the end result of like these people, and it's kind of maybe out like a meant to give these people a wage based on like what they can afford, which is kind of the whole point of like minimum wage in general.
I don't
right?
remember
To
that
afford
part
these
of Real
people like
Steel.
whatever they need, and that maybe
2011.
somebody under the age of like 18 doesn't actually need as much money to get by, you know, or in most cases they don't, kind of thing. I'm just wondering if you at all like consider the fact that like because the reason why I kind of reject it a little bit is because I think that like labor, like the labor of somebody under the age of 17 can be just as valuable as somebody that's like 50 years old if they're doing the same job, right?
But
And
I'm saying, I concede to that point, saying yes, it can be, but that's why I was saying it's situational.
Yeah, and I think though there's mechanisms in place in workplaces to account for this that don't need to like have a separate minimum wage for people that are under that age. If there's somebody who's like more skilled at something, then they can just have a higher position or have like a more of a raise essentially, right?
But
from that
the
from
thing
that
is
minimum
that
wage.
you can't give a 16-year-old a higher position.
Oh no! I'm saying for like let's say with the hypotheticals that I was like giving you, and then like how you molded it to saying that like usually this 21-year-old would probably be more skilled or whatever, right? Or usually they work more full time and then you get value back. Okay, so they work full time and then you get
The
more value from this
hypothesis
employee
is
or
that
whatever,
if
right?
you have kids, you get
If
a
that's the
raise.
case,
Enjoying a
then you
robot
can like
girlfriend in that system
person
wouldn't
could just
make you
have a
win enough
different
money to
position
pay
that would
for the
have
striptease.
that would have like more like money being paid to them essentially. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you could have a separation.
No, but I'm
still.
saying you can only have so many positions. Like I can't have.
Oh, sorry. Let me not say position, but let me just say
I
raise.
can't have 8 managers.
Okay, sorry. So not position, but like a raise, I guess, right? They would just have a raise. You
Okay,
know?
but where do you cap that, right?
Well, it
as
depends
an
on the
employer,
position.
Where do you cap that?
It depends on the position, right? We all know that like cashiers get capped at a different position than grocery clerks, that get capped at a different position than supervisors, that get capped at like each separate position depending on the value of the labor or whatever kind of thing, they'll cap it at a different point essentially, right? It just depends.
Right, but
these are
so then
complex equations.
You know, what if you have, we're gonna change it down to 2 20-year-olds.
Okay,
right?
sure.
Who have who both excel really good at their jobs. They would both be candidates for managers. Let's say, like they both have outstanding qualifications, and you already have a manager, right?
Okay, sure.
What do you do? Like one of them is already a manager. Let's say, what do you do to the other 20-year-old?
The one that like meets the expectations to be a manager as well.
Yeah.
They just have to wait till the position opens up. I don't know, or get another job somewhere else where their qualifications would let them move their way up. I don't know. We already have this problem in our current system, regardless of how all the,
But that's exactly what I said, and you said that I molded it, right? I was saying, like if that's the case, that like the 16-year-old and the 20-year-old or 18-year-old or whatever are have exactly the same qualifications.
Trump
right?
2024.
then I think that it's better for that the 18-year-old or the 20-year-old to get it, because that they are going to be putting in like more work essentially, because they're going to be there full time.
We are talking
And
about
that was,
minimum
like-
wage still, right?
Yeah, no, we are, and I'm saying that's the issue that I have like with that hypothetical, is that it's too much variance.
Well, no, I'm just the point of I don't know.
Lost
how to
Miley and
describe
Alo
this.
T Dol
When-
FLIP.
I know that that the hypothetical is not like real world based. It's not supposed to be real world based. I'm trying to figure out what your beliefs are specifically with, if you even consider like labor being like static between things, right, to some degree, like the value of labor individually. That's essentially what I'm targeting, right? It's
Right, and
possible
then
for you to
that
hold the
I
position
boil
that
it
you think
down.
labor could be like static or whatever, and that you think that the value of an 18-year-old mowing a lawn versus like a 21-year-old mowing a lawn, or sorry, not 18, sorry, I need to be under, a 16-year-old mowing the lawn and a 21-year-old mowing the lawn should be worth the same amount. You could hold that position, but you could also simultaneously hold a position that you think it is more important that minimum wage specifically just targets people's needs, and that you personally, like, separately from the hypothetical, still believe that the 14-year-old or the 16-year-old should have a lower minimum wage because they probably don't need it, maybe based on whatever math or whatever. But you know?
And that's what I'm saying, kind of thing, right? Like,
I'm just trying to make sure that you like I guess that you even entertain the labor aspect of it, because it just feels like you're running away from it. But I think you get it.
well, I'm definitely not trying to run away from it. So
I know that you're like good faith for sure. I don't think that you're like bad faith. It just seemed like I was just trying to make you like focus on that, but I think I did a fairly like poor job of explaining my positions, so, or my hypotheticals, so that's why. Oopsies.
yeah, I guess what it boils down to is like, I think that generally most people under the age of 18 don't have as many bills as people over the age of 18.
Yeah, this is
And
probably true.
should therefore have no reason to be making a minimum wage, because I think minimum wage to me is what's there to be the minimum for you to get by. I
Yeah,
think
like the
that's what
minimum for you to
wage should be.
survive at like a certain quality of life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And
I agree.
I think minimum wage should be based off of a I don't want to say generalization, because I really hate the word generalization, but it shouldn't be based off of a generalization of like what the collective considers to be livable. It should be what
Oh, it should be like an equation,
each
pretty much. Yeah.
like it should be an equation that each individual person is defined as livable within reason, right?
Well,
if you go out and you buy
could
a
scale it down to
fucking-
like a local economy, maybe. Like maybe
yeah,
there'd be minimum wages
if you
between
go out,
towns and
if
cities.
you go out and buy a fucking Lamborghini Matador, right, and your car payments are fucking $1,200,
Yeah, no.
right? Do I
Hello,
think that
do
you
you
should
take
advocate that
debate
minimum wage is
seriously?
$30? No, like that's unreasonable, right?
Yeah.
But like if you go out and buy a Ford Focus, which is like a pretty average person car, I would say, like, that's nothing fancy.
No, that's probably
Right?
what it should be based on, is like the cheaper like models of cars or whatever kind of thing and stuff. Yeah, you have to factor
Yeah.
all those things in. Yeah, for sure.
Right? Then and you know, like, you factor in your car payments, you factor in your insurance, you know,
Yeah.
factor in, you know, chances are you probably have some amount of debt from
Take a
you
real
know,
example. Jim Carrey is
having a
making
very
tons of
poor
money,
minimum
but no,
wage
he is
before
old.
This was changed.
Why would he make
right?
same money of a 20-year-old?
Then that, like, I think minimum wage should be changed to help you, like we said, survive, right? And
Yeah,
once
it's
you
meant as
pay
like
up-
a safety net, right? I think that's kind of,
Yeah.
we're probably mostly in agreement of all this stuff, and I
Yeah,
actually agree with
I
like
agree.
your other positions too. I just tend to lean a little bit more based, like, I think my I put more importance on maybe like the value of labor should be like incorporated more into it, and I think that you would rather it just be solely based on like meeting people's like minimum needs for like a certain quality of life.
So
right?
the reason why I think that is, I think it should be solely based on people's like minimum quality of life, strictly
Yeah.
because I consider myself to be a very hard worker,
right.
and I think that's proven based on the fact I was with co-op.
Well,
for 7 years.
everybody thinks that of themselves, but yeah, I think I've worked
Yeah.
with you, so I can
Yeah,
attest to this.
You've worked
yes.
with me. Kyle has worked with me. You know, people have seen me work at jobs, and people are like, oh, you know, like, you're a hard worker. It's how I was able to move up the ladder at co-op, starting from a 14-year-old working a minimum wage job to becoming a supervisor,
Yep.
right? And arguably even going for the position of manager. Now, did I get the position of manager? No, but I still went for it.
Well, you did like supervisor roles and stuff too, which was like fairly similar. And we did
Well,
kind
that's
of
'cause
run
I was a
grocery to like
supervisor.
all together. Me, you, and Alex like all like
Yeah.
ran grocery together. So like we were pretty much managers.
Well,
like,
but
that's
like
weird.
right before I left, like I went to become a manager, like to become.
Yeah,
a
you
grocery
applied
manager.
for it. Yeah.
And like Steve and Kathy were like, "Oh, like you actually know what you're talking about." And I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I just getting on topic here." Anyways,
Yeah.
but I consider myself to be a very hard worker. I think other people can attest to that I'm a fairly hard worker.
Yeah.
Right. With me being a very hard worker, the closest that I got was a supervisor who made 22 an hour, which is a lot. Like 22 an hour is not nothing.
Yeah.
Right. But I was also there for 7 years, and I also went from clerk to night crew supervisor.
Yeah.
To
Well,
grocery supervisor.
So when we talk
The
about
reason
like
I-
7 years though too, we have to keep in mind that like a large portion of that was part-time work, right? And that's why
Yeah.
it took so long to work. If you're working 7 years full-time somewhere else, I would expect you to like move up the chain like quite faster in
right,
terms
you
of wage.
you would
So
expect
when
me to.
at what age were you at when you were making $22 an hour? Like 21?
It was 21, 22. It was like
That's
2 years
insane.
ago.
Yeah, that's like insanely good for like a grocery job at like that age.
Yeah.
That's like insane.
Right. But like, whereas now, like, I still consider myself to be a fairly hard worker.
Yeah.
Right. I've been with my current company for a year, and I only make 17.
Yeah.
And so I consider that to be kind of like a slap in the face. And maybe it's because
Well-
I'm spoiled, maybe a little bit. Like maybe
I-
this is like a spoiled problem where like at co-op it's like, oh, like, co-op had a policy where it's like you work, what is it, 4 months and you get like a raise or something like that.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? This is why I got lots of people to work at co-op, as many of my friends as I could possible, because co-op was very rewarding.
Yeah.
Even as simple as a grocery job, as any kind of grocery job could be, co-op like very much valued their workers in that way, where like you got an actual like meaningful raise after like X amount of hours, which tended to be about a year. Every year, like with full-time 40 hours a week kind of thing, you would usually get one a year, and it was usually like at least $1. And that's like not including if you get like a position raise, which incorporates like a separate raise
And like
in and of itself.
like I said, like I could also be completely spoiled with that, and also the fact that I was a power engineer, worked as a power engineer for 4 or 5 months, where I was making 28 an hour.
Yeah,
Right.
I wouldn't call it spoiled. I would say privileged is the appropriate word.
Maybe
for that one,
privilege,
yeah.
but I guess the point I'm trying to say is like minimum wage is 15, right?
Yeah.
I make $2 above minimum wage, which some people are like, holy fuck, like that's a lot,
Right.
right? And I'm like, yeah, it's not enough.
No.
Is the issue that I'm having here, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I think I've changed my stance from saying like, oh, like minimum wage should be, based on work ethic or like labor kind of thing, to just a baseline of like, what do you need to get by?
Okay, you feel like that's an actual like just better metric that will like meet people's needs better. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
I think I
do
completely
think
agree
some-
with most of these points too. Anyways,
Do I
just
think
tend
some
to
amount of people are
incorporate
going to
labor
be
more.
kind of like, I think in my scenario or my prescription, do I think some amount of people are going to be lazy and take advantage of the system? Like, yeah, sure.
Oh, of course,
but
yeah,
I mean,
always. But we should
that's
never
going
tailor it to
happen
like
no
those
matter
people.
what,
Yeah, we
right?
should
Yeah,
never
exactly.
like reject something that's gonna help people just because somebody's gonna take advantage of it. That's like stupid. We would have like no social safety nets ever if that was the case.
Yeah, exactly, right? And so like that's why I am personally of the opinion that I have about that.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if like I probably came off a little hostile in our conversation, I'm sure, but I totally do agree with like all of your positions. I was just trying to like really like get you to engage with my hypothetical. That's all. I do agree with like pretty much all of your positions, and I definitely see the merit in most of them. I've only more recently like incorporated like labor into my like position more. I've held like a more similar position to yours for like a much longer time, and that there's probably to some degree there's probably more merit in your position too. I think it would probably be more effective if we did just hyper focus like one goal with minimum wage being just meeting people's needs.
Well, that's just because I think that's what minimum wage should be. Like, it should be able. It should be able for everyone to meet their needs, like within reason, obviously.
Yeah. And social safety nets exist to like try and help
Because-
people. You went through it right too, right? Like being like a teenager or whatever and needing help from the government. So maybe it's possible that minimum wage doesn't need to accommodate for teenagers and stuff, just for like the worst case scenarios of the people who might have problems and need to pay their own rent and stuff, simply because we do have separate safety nets to help those people individually, and so we don't need to have the whole system be focused on that. I could probably completely 100% agree with that statement, you know,
Right.
because then all of my issues are kind of covered, right, I guess, on my side. So
Yeah. No.
For the most
Definitely.
part.
Definitely.
Bonk.
What you're saying there.
Here, one sec. I'm just gonna catch up on my chat. I guess maybe you can too.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I meant to get into that. What are your current thoughts on the COVID-19 meta? Do you see a nerf coming anytime soon? Well, we just went over our policy stuff here for Alberta that changed, and nothing really changed. So we could hope for it, but if masks don't come off soon, there's definitely gonna be a nerf.
Dude, bring on the Nerf war. Let's go.
We'll lose all the Nerf darts in the blood. Oh god, this is getting fun. Dylan said lots of jobs are age-based. For example, you need to be 18 plus to work in certain kitchens. You need to be 18 plus to operate a baler at Walmart, etc. Age-based minimum wage makes sense to me. If you're below the age but offering meaningful support for your family, you can make an official request for adult minimum wages. Oh, okay, so that's a whole nother.
Yeah,
I guess that would be another
agree with
safety
that
net too. Then.
Like,
That's
right,
good.
like, yeah, like if you're under 18 but you have to support yourself, like say you're emancipated, like I was, right?
Yep.
I was under 18, I was emancipated, no
Yeah.
support from my family, but I had huge support from Child Protective Services, like CPS. Like I
Yeah.
was receiving benefits from the government. They weren't giving me any amount of money or anything, but I was receiving
Well, it's like vouchers and
benefits
stuff,
for, like,
right?
Yeah, like I was receiving benefits for like dental care, health care, like prescriptions. Like these are all things that I wouldn't have without them.
Yeah, as
Right?
long as nobody's slipping through the cracks, that's the main thing, right?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good point, Dylan. You need to eat food, by the way. Oh, right, I already read that one. I was out of stamina. I think I'm out again. What do you think a technician that built program and robot gripper should win? What do you think a technician that built program? Wait,
Win a Nobel Prize.
I'm confused. Should earn, maybe? What do you think a technician that built program...
The hypothesis is that you have kids, you get a raise,
I'm not
and join
sure.
a robot girlfriend in that system wouldn't make you enough money to pay for this trip.
Oh, okay, I have to read more here. Okay, I'd enjoy a robot stripper. That's a win for everyone. I don't remember that part of Red Steel 2001. Okay, the hypothesis is that you have kids, you get a raise enjoying a robot girlfriend, and that system wouldn't make you with enough money to pay for the striptease. What the fuck? Okay. Trump 2024, the classic. Can't go
The
very many
classic.
streams without having someone come in here and LARP their Trump shit. Classic.
Hello, do you take debate seriously? Yeah, I think we take debates pretty seriously.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. Take a real example. Jim Carrey is making tons of money, but no, he is old. Why would he make the same money as a 20-year-old? Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense too. But it's more based. That would be more based on like I guess skill in
But-
in your industry. Not
And
as
he
much
also
age.
wouldn't be making minimum wage, right?
True. Yeah.
So
That's
I
kind
think
of
that-
the
that
whole, like-
point is kind of just like mute.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole like industry sub levels and stuff like that and blah blah blah. It's possible that somebody could be like 50 and making minimum wage still just because like they are like not considered to be like adequate enough at their job or whatever, and they
Right,
just never...
but that again, like I said, that also leads down to companies not giving out proper training or the lack of like
Yeah, that's true.
drive from individuals.
Yeah, maybe they're in the wrong job
Right,
or something
like-
like that, but it's the only job that's available or something. You never know, I
Yeah,
guess. Eh?
like I know, like I'm gonna get like anecdotal here with this kind of thing, but like
Well,
I
this-
know
this one's-
Nathan.
Highly anecdotal, yeah. I think this
Yeah, so
this
the-
like this topic just pretty much like begs for anecdotes, you know.
Yeah. So like one of my old coworkers, he worked at the main branch here in Edmonton, the north side one.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was saying that like while he was there, one of the warehouse guys received their 50-year award for being in the warehouse for 50 years, right?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Um, and like, you know, there were people who were like, why is that guy still in the warehouse after 50 years? Like, that's pretty shitty on the company for not giving him the chance to move up.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, no, he's like, I have no drive to do anything else but work in the warehouse. Like, I like working in the warehouse. I don't want to do anything beyond this.
Yeah, I can understand that for sure. I feel like a lot of people don't get it, but
But so, like, you know, I don't expect him to be making minimum wage because he's been there for 50 years. But, you know, in the hypothetical that he is making still minimum wage,
yeah,
right? As long as that minimum wage fits within his lifestyle and his like means of living, that's like accommodating to having like all of his basic needs met and then some amount of luxury so he can have a social life.
yeah.
That's fine. That's fine with me.
Yeah, well, because luxuries are
Honestly.
necessary for like happiness, right? So that's why
Yeah.
that's something that's really important when we say like that we want minimum wage to like allow for luxury. It's necessary because the whole point, like especially based on your premise of minimum wage, right? If your premise of minimum wage is to like meet a certain level of like happiness for humans or whatever, then like you have to by necessity include luxuries because just getting by itself is going to be a pretty miserable life. You're actually not going to have like a
Yeah.
It's-
Like, do I? And like I said, like luxuries within reason. Like, you know, do I think going out to, you know, the movie theater every weekend is you know, do I think that's a reasonable luxury? Like, no.
No, it's
Right?
just things that bring you personal happiness, right? It
Yeah.
shouldn't be like you said, Lamborghinis and stuff like that. That stuff is like beyond, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure.
Like it should. I think more so maybe like living affordably in your means.
Comfortably in your means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living comfortably in your means while still being able to have some amount of luxuries while having all of your needs met.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Now, of course, it's going to be really complicated math to reach what numbers those should be, but
Yeah, and like I said, like that's where it's obviously going to be different than like a case by case basis. Like if you're a single parent, let's say who has 3 kids,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't even know what the math is for a single child,
yeah,
to
you
live
have to incorporate
comfortably.
that because
right?
otherwise, like the money
Like-
just gets drained from like trying to help the children and stuff, and then the mother never gets
Right.
anything out of it.
Like school fees, I think school fees are only like $700 or something like that, like a
Yeah.
year, right? So it's like, okay, well, that's half of one paycheck for
they?
me, and I make 17 an hour.
School fees in Canada, or at least in Alberta, I thought were like $100. That's how much I paid when I had to pay mine one time.
No, I remember when I got emancipated, I received the bill for my school fees. The government covered it, but hey, what's up, homeless? But it was like, I'm pretty sure it was like $500.
Wow.
700 might be a bit much, but it was like $500.
Okay.
I literally shit you not.
Well, that's pretty wild. I thought it was like 100. I think that's what I paid, but fuck, that was a while ago too. Who knows? Maybe it's changed.
Also, to
whatever.
be like when I went to my post-secondary school,
Yeah.
right, like obviously like this is I think like not really in the example or the hypothetical, but even like when I went to post-secondary school, like I took out a loan. Like my tuition, I think was like $4,000.
Yeah, that's pretty pricey. That was
Right.
for 1 year or a couple months or what?
That was for 6 months.
Oof, yeah. Mind you, I'm sure
And
that
I-
that's like
and I-
nothing compared to other places in the world, but
And
a lot of money
that's
still.
nothing. But like I needed to go for two semesters, 2 6-month semesters.
right.
So that's $8,000.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's just talking
And-
about school tuition. That's not even
and
talking about
that's
like
just tuition.
food,
That's what I'm talking about.
rent.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Food, rent, my books,
Yep.
me like getting back and forth to school. Luckily, I was able to do all of my learning online, and I didn't need to go into a classroom.
Yeah.
Because I challenged my course. But if I would have taken the whole year, because since I challenged it, I had 2 6-month semesters instead of like 2 1-year semesters.
Yeah.
But if I had to go to class every day, like what, a taxi from your mom's house, like back when we lived in the North End,
Yeah.
or mom's house, to Northern Lakes was $20.
Yeah, it's expensive. Taxis are like insanely expensive. Peace River needs
Right.
to do better at public transport.
Well, and that's the thing. Like small town, Peace River has no public transport. We don't have a bus, right?
Yeah.
Like it gets a little cheaper in cities when you have like transit and like LRTs and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then there's ways to subsidize that
I
too
love
and
his
stuff
mom's
too.
house. I too love his mom's house.
Mhm.
And like yeah, sure you can get like taxi vouchers, but like when I was doing my
That's a really
My
really
schooling-
that's really expensive on the taxpayer though, and on the municipality.
yeah exactly
If they're like paying for like
Exactly.
taxi services instead of just like getting a bus, which would just be cheaper for them in general in the long run, like they
Yeah.
end up just paying for the profits for the taxi system, which is super. That's like a lose-lose situation, you know. If it's the
Yeah,
only
exactly.
option, then
And-
sure, but yeah.
and I didn't even know about the taxi vouchers.
Yeah.
Granted, I didn't need them because I had a vehicle and I could drive. But okay,
Not
but now we
everyone's
need
so
to
lucky,
factor
yeah.
in. Now we need to factor in gas. Now we need to factor in insurance.
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't need it. Like I didn't have any car payments. But like these are all things that just like, you know, people are like,
It piles
how the
up
fuck
so
did I
quickly.
manage? Yeah, people are like, how did I manage to borrow like $50,000 to go for schooling for 1 year? It's like, okay, well, what's your rent?
Yeah, that's exactly the thing too. It's just another reason why I support things like getting rid of like removing the price of tuition and stuff, because even then school still wouldn't be free, you know, like you still have to have money to pay for all of these other expenses. So
Yeah. That's probably gonna kick you out of the game.
let me know. Oh, you just booted out?
Yeah, I
Awesome.
quit because I need to end my stream. So
Yeah, I gotta
can
end my
make
stream too.
some Stopper.
We're pretty far past, but that was a good stream. Holy moly, lots of engagement today, which was sweet. So
Hell yeah! I heard every Canadian is forced to personally harvest 1 barrel of maple syrup. True. That's a right of becoming a Canadian. You have to harvest 1 barrel of maple syrup.
true.
Hey, see you, Derm.
Harvest.
Thanks for stopping by the stream. Huge shout out to Homeless for stopping by the stream and engaging, and huge shout out to Lavender Gunner. Next stream will be on Thursday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Make sure you follow the links in the description, the Twitch
Sure.
description. Hopefully, I say this every time. I'm really terrible for this, but I really need to start editing some videos to post on the YouTube. We were supposed to go
Yeah.
over it this weekend that just passed, but we just didn't get around to it.
Yeah, true. I've only got one. I think I've only got one viewer right now, and I'm not sure who it is for my chat. But we will have that Mark debate up with the People's Party of Canada member. And
Yeah.
we'll probably edit it this weekend, I guess, coming up.
Yeah.
We can prioritize that.
I worked this Saturday from 9 to 1. I took on an extra shift
Shit. Okay.
just so that I could get some extra money because Jamie's birthday is next weekend, and I want to have a little extra.
Yeah, for
cash
sure.
with us.
All G.
She doesn't know yet. She's probably not watching the stream, so I can talk with this. But I'm going to buy her a 7-tier plant shelf.
Ooh, that's OP.
Hell yeah, it's fucking nice. It's really
It's a big
cool.
fancy.
True.
That's
It's
cool.
made out of like bamboo. She goes bananas for plants, and she already has
Oh,
a
yeah.
few plants, so I think it's gonna be really good to.
Yeah, that'll be
make her a
nice.
plant shelf. It'll be a nice piece of furniture that we'll have in the house.
True.
So, but I want to have a little extra money for that, and
Okay. Yeah, so I
That
guess
will
we
be-
could. I don't know. Like then, maybe I'll just try and edit that video separately, and then whenever I teach you how to edit, we can just pick some other video
Yeah.
or whatever. I'll try in my
Just 'cause-
free time to get that one up as soon as possible. But yeah.
we might stop by once I'm done work because I get off at 1.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
right.
Yeah, so that might be possible.
So,
still. Okay.
yeah, it might still be possible for me to stop by. It really depends on like how Jamie's feeling, but I know like I work 9 to 1 this weekend, and then next weekend it's Jamie's birthday, so like probably not very likely to do any sort of like editing then. But
Yeah, that's fair.
the week after, so 3 weeks.
True. We'll learn eventually. Got him.
Yeah.
I don't
know. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for me. Huge shout out to everyone stopping by. Make sure you all follow the links in the description. Make sure you all follow the channel. That's a huge shout out. Make sure you have your notifications turned on for when I go live.
True.
I'm really gonna focus on a Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday schedule, 6 p.m. I really want to get that kind of like locked in. I don't want to. I don't want to stray from that. Like there might be some days where I kind of don't stick to that, but I'm gonna try and be better at posting on social media, saying like, "Hey, not streaming tonight," whatever reason. So that's it for me. I hope everyone has a fantastic evening or day, wherever the hell you are, and I'll catch you all on Thursday. Till then, bye.
Cool. Yeah, and thanks everybody for stopping by the stream today. Lots of good conversations were had for sure. Let's go through. Mike Dixie Rec, thanks for stopping by. I'm not sure if you ended up staying for most of the stream, but it was nice having you there. Cruz, always nice to see you, buddy. Thanks for being in the stream. And then Dylan, also thanks for stopping by. I'll have to try and catch you live. I noticed you were live at the same time as I was when I started this stream, so unfortunately I wasn't able to watch your stream there, but I'll have to try and catch you live again in the future. Thanks for stopping by. T Nova, I have no idea. I think I was arguing with you. Or no, that was the 13Army that was arguing with you. Mark and Antoine, I'm sorry if I'm
I am
butchering
a
your
peace
name.
out now. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for stopping by, Mark, as well. Great conversations. 88 Metal Mania as well. Thanks for stopping by, my dude. Yeah, good conversations with you too. And I think that's pretty much everybody. Cool. Oh yeah, Jericho and Matthew. Thank you guys as well. Cool. And Pugot, you only said one thing, but thanks for saying that one thing. Lamau. Anyways, have a good night, everybody. Thanks for checking out the stream. We'll be live again on Thursday, probably. And Sunday. And yeah, I'll try and get that debate up in my free time when I have time to edit that. So cool. See you guys later.